676-8477. With traffic, I'm Samantha Canning.
This report is sponsored by the Florida Department of Transportation. Hey, listeners, before celebrating St. Patrick's Day this year, remember to plan ahead and know all your options. If you drink, don't get behind the wheel. Instead, designate a sober driver or catch a ride service. And if you are the designated sober driver, commit to staying sober. Don't let your luck run out.
Hey, Russ Rollins here. Are you tired of staring at that cold swimming pool? With Solar Source, you can finally enjoy your favorite family hangout spot all year long. With over 75,000 systems installed over the past 40 years, Solar Source has been trusted by the Four Seasons Hotel, by NASA, by Disney, by Legoland, and also by the Summer Olympics. Enjoy parties, workout, lounging all day by the pool. Don't let your pool continue to be a wasted expense. Visit solarsource.com/monsters today. For as low as $29 per month, you can turn your pool into the ultimate family fun hangout. solarsource.com/monsters.
For more information about contests on this station, go to realradio.fm/rules. One man, one microphone, 8 hard-ass questions, and enough fun to light up your whole week. It's Fritz on the Street. Catch it live Thursdays at 1 p.m. on the News Junkie. Sponsored by that mortgage guy, Don.
Don't miss the vote. Compare your quote with that mortgage guy, Don.com.
There's something for everyone at Busch Gardens Tampa Bay. Come face to face with more than 800 animals. Discover new lions and sea hyenas like never before at our largest, most immersive animal habitat expansion, Lion and Hyena Ridge, opening this spring. Then, feel the rush on 8 thrilling coasters. Sip and savor over 100 flavors at the all-new Food, Wine, and Garden Festival. Select dates March 6th through May 10th. Busch Gardens, where wonder meets wild fun. Buy a Busch Gardens Fun Card, get Adventure Island free for only $99.99. Hurry, offer ends soon. Taxes, service fees, blackout dates, and other restrictions may apply.
Hey Orlando, Joe Rossi here for Greenway Kia. It's tournament season and the deals are tipping off. As interest rates drop, we're driving them down even further with financing as low as 0% APR on select new Kias. And our team is ready to go full court press to help you get approved, even if your credit isn't perfect. Explore one of the area's largest Kia inventories at greenwaykias.com. More inventory, more competition, more money for your trade. I'm Joe Rossi, and I want to see you in a Greenway Kia.
With approved credit. Offers expire 4/5/26.
Are your investments in the right accounts? What's best, traditional or Roth? Are you receiving all available tax deductions? Are you paying as little in tax as you can? These are all questions you can't afford to get wrong. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth, and in many cases, it's not what you make, but it's what you keep that makes the real difference. Trajan Wealth and Trajan Tax work closely together exclusively. No more guessing about whether you should do a Roth conversion, or if maxing out your 401k is really the best option. Our nationally recognized fiduciary advisors and CPA team work in tandem to make sure your tax strategy works with your investment strategy. We'll even do your tax preparation. One team, one strategy. Isn't it time for a second opinion? Call Trajan today. 407-213-0000. That's 407-213-0000.
Trajan Wealth, an SEC registered investment advisor. Additional services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures and accreditation at TrajanWealth.com.
This is Greg Trzynski of the Original Mattress Factory. OMF is kind of a unicorn in the mattress business. We build every mattress ourselves, right here in town, with quality materials that last. Then, we sell them directly to you, no middleman marking up the price. The result? Better quality mattresses for less money. That combination shouldn't exist, but it does. And you can see it for yourself by stopping by any of our locations around town. Or check us out at originalmattress.com.
Mills Air in business since 1992. That's over 30 years here in Central Florida. They're not going anywhere. Carrier factory authorized dealer. You can always turn to the experts at Carrier. Equipment change-outs and upgrades right now with up to $1,275 in rebates. Visit millsair.com.
There's no championship league for small business owners. But if there was, you'd be at the top of the standings. Because going pro with Lenovo Pro means you've got the winning formation. One-on-one advice, IT solutions, and customized hardware powered by Intel Core Ultra processors help you stay ahead of the competition. Business goes pro with Lenovo Pro. Sign up for free at lenovo.com/pro.
Lenovo.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
What's your case worth? Injury.com.
All right.
From the JustCallMo.com studios. Accidents happen, but Mo's here to help. Injured on the go? Just call Mo. Visit JustCallMo.com or call 1-800-CALL-MO. This is WTKS-FM HD1 Cocoa Beach, Orlando. An iHeart radio station. Guaranteed human.
Someone's going to get offended. It's just the way the world works. So to hopefully save everyone a little time and or energy, here's this. The opinions that you hear are those of the host and callers, and not those of iHeartMedia, its management, or advertisers.
The News Junkie is on. The three best friends you never knew you had. Running through the most viral stories of the day. The News Junkie Sean Wasson with Sabrina and C-Lane.
It is Monday, March 9th, 2026. Lots to get to today, from a New York City IED attack to a teacher is dead after a student's prank goes wrong, and spring break clashes with huge TSA airport lines, plus your calls, dispatches, emails, texts, and more. Hey there, Sabrina.
Hello.
Hello, C-Lane.
What's
happening? And hello to you. You can join us on the show today. All you have to do is send us a dispatch. Go to thenewsjunkie.com, hit record on your first dispatch today. You can also watch the show on YouTube and twitch.tv/thenewsjunkie. Your message is rolling right into the studio in real time. How's everybody doing on a Monday?
Pretty good.
Yeah,
How
I'm
are
good.
you?
A little sideways.
Why?
A little sideways on account of the time change. I know it's a petty thing. I know.
You're not alone, okay? I am right there with you, even though everything automatically changes.
Yeah,
My ass
except
still
for one thing.
slept until 8:30.
And then I also had a nightmare last night. Not like I'm sleeping having a nightmare. Just had a nightmare last night. Like as in last night was a nightmare all around. And we'll get into what happened there in just a moment. Right now, let's start off as we always do. Let's put our ears to the ground, our fingers on the pulse. Let's see what's happened in this great, big, wide world of ours. And we go to... Well, this is not going to be good for my case against C-Lane's argument, but
Where are we going, Sean? Where are we going?
We go to an airplane, all right? Okay, fine.
Airplane.
Might as well call it the Airplane Junkie. Come on. All the stories are about airplanes on the whole show. And, well, today we do start off there. Why a woman got kicked off an American Airlines flight in Miami after refusing to use her headphones and fighting with the flight attendants. And this was just after we heard the rule. I don't know. I think it was with American Airlines.
No, I thought it was United that was doing that.
Yeah. It was with United, but this woman's on American Airlines, and American Airlines is like, you know what? We're following suit. We want you people playing the volume on your phones and playing Bluetooth speakers. If you don't listen to us, you're gone. You're out of here. Here's this lady on a flight that just happens to be the starter for the show. We don't always focus on airplane stuff, I assure you, but here we go.
I paid money for it, and I played a video for 30 seconds at 50% sound. And that's the reason you're kicking me off.
I love that. At 50% sound.
Come on. It wasn't 100, obviously.
You know what that was? That was very, very intentionally like, I could have been twice as obnoxious. Just so you know, would have been easy for me to, and I turned it down to 50%, okay? She says loud and proud. It was only on 50%.
At 50% sound. And that's the reason you're kicking me off. Hey, if you want to record, totally fine. No. Okay.
All right, here they go. They're going to get her off.
No, I'm not. Because I said that sounds like your problem. Your staff had a low f***ing bullshit.
Wow.
that like they didn't accept that, and that sounds
She's
like
at 75% sound, right?
She's at 75% drunk.
Okay.
Maybe she might be tipping it up to in the 90s somewhere.
Way louder than her phone. Likely.
There's one little vocal mess up she does that you're like, oh, you have had a few pre-flight beverages.
My favorite part is she's in the back seat. She's in the very last seat, just so you guys know, on this American Airlines flight. Like, she's the last row that I can see. And there's somebody next to her who is trying to disappear. I don't know if they're with her or not, but like, you know, if you've ever been next to somebody who was embarrassing themselves in public and you just try, like, if I squeeze into a little ball, will I just completely disappear here? That's what the person next to her is trying to do as she loses it.
Problem. Go ahead and call the police.
Okay.
What the actual I stopped after that. I stopped after the second warning.
I stopped after the second warning.
She's trying to brag
Put
about.
Put that on a plaque, please. I stopped after the second warning.
I liked that. Sounds like a you.
She says, I stopped after the second warning. Normally, I wait till the third at least.
Is that not 3 strikes you out?
This woman is like, you could tell there was a whole before time on this video, and then now we're in the after time.
30-second video. Yes, please record me.
Please record me, she says.
Hey, is this not a free speech, America?
That's what it was.
Hey, guys, come on.
Is this not a free speech? I have a free speech.
It's freeze, bitch. You're about to get kicked off the plane.
She said, is this not a free speech, America? And like, when you're drunk and you think you're like, I'm killing it right now. I'm like nailing all of my words. I sound so smart. Everybody else sounds dumb. But you're drunk, and so you don't realize that you actually sound like free speech. This is the way you sound.
Listen, hey, is this not a free speech, America? Or like, are we being assholes to literally everybody?
Literal Randy Marsh.
I know.
I thought I had free speech.
Can I not express my feelings? Can I not express my feelings?
The cop goes, express your feelings over there. Just come on, get off the plane. Everybody on this flight, this American Airlines flight, is going, God, please
and since
stop.
she is in row 33, that means as she is escorted off this plane, she has to walk by pretty much every single one of them.
No, that's true. Is she going to get a
meeting that time?
Do we see her go out? Hang on, let's see.
Thank you. I am.
Gets her back.
Isn't this wild to consider? Headphones would have never had this happen?
I played a video for 30 seconds. Come on. Go ahead.
She's trying to get him to go first. He's like,
no.
30 seconds.
Thank you, officer.
All the way down the aisle. Is that it? Yeah. There you go. All the way down the aisle, she's going 30 effing seconds.
And that still needed a couple more bleeps after that, because then the passengers that were clapping and cheering as she left were like, "Get the F out, lady!"
See ya.
At least nobody pulled out a Bluetooth speaker and played any music to sing her off. The na-na-na-na, hey, goodbye.
Curb Your Enthusiasm theme.
Yeah, right, like, Nip, you're next. You're next. I love that. I love the line where she said, I forgot exactly how she said it, but she's like, I stopped after the second warning. It's like, oh, God, you're revealing. There's no better way to reveal more in one little sentence than I stopped after the second warning. Like, I know without seeing the video a lot of what happened before this. And this lady was not pleasant, to say the very least. But there she goes. Don't play those Bluetooth speakers.
Yeah.
They got rules now.
It was a full Bluetooth, not off the phone.
It might have been off the phone at 50% volume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know 30 seconds.
Yeah. For 30 seconds.
Free speech.
Enjoy your
Also,
flights.
Is it just me, or does spitch seem like a word we shouldn't be saying?
It does, yeah.
There's something about spitch. As
I
I was
can
like,
say spitch.
It seems like a slur. There's a lot of slur weight to that word there in particular, but she's on
listen,
a flight.
spitch.
She's on a flight somewhere else, maybe, or maybe not. Maybe they didn't take her back in afterwards. Tough day for her, and once again, we find ourselves at the airport. For those of you who do, we'll talk about the experience right now, because kind of you got spring break getting kicked up here.
Right.
There's TSA issues because there's like still that weirdo pseudo shutdown thing going, and people are starting to melt down because there's really, really long lines. Really, really long lines at the airport. And it always leads to fun things for me, because I love when somebody's like, I showed up with plenty of time. I showed up at the airport with 22 minutes before my flight boards. I know the exact amount of time I need. That's how long it takes me to take my shoes off and put them back on and go through TSA, 22 minutes exactly. And then they don't make it on the flight, and you go, this is what happens when you ride the lightning. Because there are two types of people on this planet. We'll talk about that a little bit today. Two types of people. People who show up to the airport early and people who don't. Those are the two types of people on this planet. We'll talk about what's happening at the airports in just a little bit, but I'm just shocked and rocked and sideways over this time change. Last night, Nightmare City, Lady Dog does not understand time changes. She does not understand daylight saving time.
You didn't update her watch?
She doesn't have any watch to update, unfortunately. But she did not understand. She wakes up in the middle of the night. She's going, what the hell is happening here? And the lady's going crazy. And then all of a sudden the cat comes in. The cat's jumping on the bed. And I'm going, what is happening? And
did they do that stuff an hour later than they should have?
They don't ever do it. They don't ever do it. I think they were like weirded out by bedtimes and food times and all the things that they just don't seem to understand. And the thing for me that's interesting about watching all of this go down is it's an animal, and you can't explain it to your animal. You can't be like, hey, here's what's going to happen. In fact, somebody trying to do this went pretty viral this weekend. Cordy showed me this on Instagram that I saw all over the place afterwards. And it was this guy trying to explain to his animals, like, here's how daylight saving time works. Here's how it works. And I mean, this rocked me. It doesn't usually rock me. Dan says they took our hour. Never forget. True. Because I woke up after this nightmare.
They gave it back to you in October.
I woke up after this nightmare night, and I'm sitting there, and I go, oh, okay. I guess I better get to work. And I look at the clock, and I go, son of a bitch, 9:30. 9:30. I'm supposed to be up at 8:30 to start rolling, and it's 9th, and I was just flailing trying to get done. But here's this video that many people will resonate with, I think, because your animals just don't understand time change.
Listen, tonight
Talking
at
to
2
his
a.m.,
dog.
we're going to change the clocks to 3 a.m. And then tomorrow morning for breakfast at 6 a.m., your breakfast's not going to be till 7 a.m., but it's really going to be 6 a.m.
The dog's just
And then
staring.
tomorrow night at 6 p.m., when your supper is at 6 p.m., it's really going to be 7 p.m., but then it's really 6 p.m. You understand?
No. No.
Oh, you see he's nodding.
The
Yes.
dog's he's like trying to shake his head yes, like, I do.
I mean, I think especially for dogs that are like food driven, this is the easier change, should it not be? You just get fed an hour earlier.
It should be, but I just don't think it works out that way. I don't know why.
I'm not used to it. It just doesn't make any sense. Regardless of your phone's automatically changing, your body has just gotten used to that first round.
Yeah, it's weird.
So
it's weird.
Can we just make it longer? Maybe like each year we change the time?
I'll tell you, we got to talk to Amy Caulfield a little later because I saw her raging a little bit about daylight saving time. She's like, enough's enough. I don't want to do it anymore. We'll see what she says about that later. I did see this meme, 8.3 million views, and it says, night shift workers seeing the clock go from 1:59 to 3 o'clock. And it's just like fireworks and chaos in the streets. And when the clock goes from 1:59 to 3 a.m., and you're like, that's it, baby. See you later. We're out of here. Enough's enough.
Why at 3 a.m.? Why not like during our show? Wouldn't
because
that
we're
be
not
something?
supposed to notice, but that would be nicer. It would be like, hey, it's halfway through the show. No, just kidding. Just kidding. There's another hour burned. Yeah, another hour burned. Let's just do the outro and get out of here. Technically, we could just do that now, but we would probably get in trouble if that was the case. We have a lot to get into
night shift
today.
workers that are celebrating, though. That's one less hour they're getting paid.
Probably, but who cares at that point in time? Just let me out, for God's sake.
You get early day.
Let's talk about what happened at the box office this weekend. Oh, my. We have some big numbers coming in. Well, decent numbers coming in. The new Pixar movie, Hoppers, bounces to $46 million at the box office. That's the best for Pixar originals since Coco. And then The Bride, which was like some Frankenstein thing, bombed this weekend. Oh. And that movie might lose like 50, 60, 70 million dollars. And I didn't watch much of the trailers and stuff for this new The Bride movie. But Courtney kept saying, she was like, I go, what's up with this Frankenstein movie? And Courtney goes, oh, it's giving me big Joker Folie à Deux vibes. And I go, really? Okay, I hadn't seen that. And then so much that I saw was like, hey, the previews for this movie reminded so many people of Joker Folie à Deux that I think it turned even more people against this movie and they didn't want to see it.
That's not something you want.
You don't want to emulate the movie that so unbelievably, catastrophically fell apart at the box office.
You would think that you would start kind of noticing that people are making that comparison and maybe, just maybe, cut a new trailer.
Yeah, not Joker Folie à Deux. Big letters across the screen. Hopper's number one at the box office with $46 million over there. Scream, raking in money, doing pretty well, even though it dropped off pretty big from last week with $17 million. The Bride only made $7.3 million at its opening weekend in over 3,300 theaters. That is a bomb. Not a good debut. The GOAT movie, I think it's another animated feature from Sony, made $6 million this weekend. And then the one that makes everybody a little too horny, Wuthering Heights, bringing in another $3.75 million at the box office. That little Hoppers movie looks cute. I don't know if any of you parents went out there and took the kids or anything to see it this weekend. But I think it's like they find that they have the ability to like communicate with animals or something.
Oh, now I know what you're talking about. I think like a human turns into a animal, right? Or something like that?
Yeah. Like they're like otters and beavers and, there's a whole bunch of animals in the movie. And that really, I think, drew in a lot of people. It has some nice messages, old-fashioned messages like, take care of the planet and these kind of things.
9/11 was an inside job.
Not heavy-handed political stuff, so I think parents dug that too. And they brought their kids out to the movie, but they didn't bring them out to The Bride. They hear this story from Deadline says, why moviegoers left The Bride at the altar. High art monster pick could lose $90 million, this one says. It says it could lose $90 million. Domestic, it opened to 7.3, and then global only 13.6. So just an absolute catastrophe. It says word was out for quite some time that The Bride was doomed, that Maggie Gyllenhaal was having an uphill battle during production. This is her first massive big budget movie after the $5 million costing 3-time Oscar nominated Lost Daughter. And it didn't work out all the way around. People weren't into it. They didn't like it for a whole bunch of reasons. And nobody went to see the movie this weekend. In fact, I saw from Screen Geek, it said The Bride is reportedly being met with mass audience walkouts during screenings. Although I take issue with that because there wasn't mass audiences going to see it to begin with. So I don't know.
All 3 people left.
Yeah, I don't know that there could have been huge walkouts.
Well, they said during screenings, so the people were there for the screening.
Right. Yeah, they went there. They were screening the movie. So maybe does that imply you're seeing it early if you're screening it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and then they like wanted to go see this, and then they left out. Not good. If you saw that, let us know. Give us your thoughts. Maybe you liked it. Maybe you hated it. Let us know what you thought about the movie with the dispatch over at thenewsjunkie.com. All right, loaded up. Lots to talk about today, and we'll get into things full force when we come back. We got your emails. I got an announcement for you. I got an announcement for you. When we come back, we'll also talk about what's going on at the airports and a lot more. It's all coming up next on the News Junkie.
Real Radio is on Instagram at Real Radio 1041. Sponsored by the law offices of Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 1-800-747-FREE.
That's
Hello. How are you doing? Welcome behind the scenes. Folks, let me know if we get any gifts rolling in for secret shows today. I also have the ability to do this on command now. Stand by. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Just like that. Welcome behind the scenes on a Monday. Known Badger says, I was at the airport, it was smooth, flight was 10, got there at 8, didn't see any issues. What airport was that, Known Badger? Because we're going to talk a little bit about the TSA backups. What airport? We have a secret shows today. There was one posted as per usual on Friday. Hey, Jason. I feel like I'm an hour ahead of my schedule. True. That's tough. I got to get one more nasal spray. Just one. Stand by. Got it. Okay, we're back in a couple of minutes. Hey, Tanya, how are you? With Freddie, Jason, and Michael gone, Hollywood is forcing the traditional monsters down our throats. Well, I'll tell you, when Universal announced for Epic Universe that they were going to do this new Monsters ride, I didn't really care that much about it. I was like, that's interesting that they're going to do that. But Universal owns a lot of the old monsters. Your Frankensteins, your Draculas, and those characters. And then when I went to Epic Universe, and we went on that Monsters Unchained ride, I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. And I said, well, it would be pretty cool if they rebooted a lot of these monster movie classics and maybe did like a really great job of doing it. And I thought the Frankenstein on Netflix or wherever it was okay-ish. But this, the Bride movie, one of the problems is they try to make it so the ghost of Mary Shelley is what's driving the Bride of Frankenstein. So we're in a world where Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein are real. They exist, they're real. But also, Mary Shelley's book, Frankenstein, also still exists, so that Mary Shelley, the author, can inhabit the mind and body of the bride to... you could see where this sort of falls apart. Logically, it doesn't follow. 90 seconds and we're back. The Bride was awful. I didn't know what type of movie it wanted to be, and it was long as hell. Ugh. Known Badger says it was MCL, but I'll let you know about Dallas in a bit. Thank you for the update. Yeah, I mean, I have not heard good things, to say the very least. And I've heard a lot of that. Didn't know what it was going to be. Movie didn't know what it wanted to be. More of this sort of like heavy-handed messaging, too. And if you can't land heavy-handed messaging in a horror flick, I think that says, with the amount of like theater kids in the horror world who try to dominate the discussion of all things horror and very much
especially in places like Reddit, the theater kids take hold and control the horror movie discussion to make it very political. If you can't make a movie land in that genre with these sort of messages, I don't think there's a lot of space for it right now. I think people want to watch a fun movie. And Hoppers were. Look at that. All right, here we go. Coming back.
With Lenovo Pro. Sign up for free at Lenovo.com/pro.
I'm Anna Navarro, and on my new podcast, Bleep with Anna Navarro, I'm talking to the people closest to the biggest issues happening in your community and around the world. This week, I'm joined by investigative journalist Julie K. Brown. She is the utmost expert on the Epstein files.
The Justice Department, through, I think we counted 4 presidential administrations, failed these victims.
Open your free iHeart app, search Bleep with Anna Navarro, and listen now.
On the bright side, we're not dead yet. You're listening to the news.
Kicking it off here, lots of stuff to talk about in the world. Many things in all things viral to discuss on the show here. Join us with your dispatches and emails over at thenewsjunkie.com. Got an announcement for you in just a moment here on the show. And we'll get that out of the way after a couple of other things. One is, I know there's a lot of people who are listening to the show traveling today. And so far, from what I can see in chat, people are saying the airports are not that bad. Somebody was checking in saying they didn't see too big of delays. But I have seen some people saying it's a nightmare, which I guess we are at the start of spring break, right? This is technically like...
Yeah.
There's
Sure.
some college kids on spring break, I know for sure.
Don't we just kind of like treat all of March as spring break?
Essentially.
I think because it's like stretched out in a weird way now. Sometimes
Catholic
there's people...
schools are different than your public schools.
Yeah, like the timing is a little weird. Like I always remembered spring break being in, was it April or...
No, I always thought it was March.
Yeah, maybe late March I thought it was, but I didn't think it was this early on in March. But colleges start way early sometimes. And then they sporadically have them all over March. And that sends a lot of people. They're headed home to their families. It sends them on the road. And when they're all going through the airports, well, that's going to back things up a little bit. And you also have the issue of there's this government pseudo shutdown thing. And TSA is not doing as well as it should be. And so some of the stories, like USA Today says, security lines stretched for hours at several major U.S. airports on Sunday as a partial government shutdown and the start of spring break travel collided, leaving some passengers scrambling to make their flights. Now, I will reiterate to you that there are 2 types of people. There are the people who show up at the last minute for their flight and the people who show up nice and early so they don't barely ever have to worry about being late.
Sorry, Sean, but I believe in this moment there is a third category.
What's that?
Of people who did not know that pre-TSA is part of the semi-government shutdown.
In the regular people world where they're not pre-TSA, I guess that's a growing category of people, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. In the regular people world where we're not tuned into pre-TSA, that's affected too. They also are affected, or they are not affected by the slowdown.
They are affected because
TSA people.
They thought that they could go into their pre-TSA line, and that does not exist. According to reports.
Whoa, hold on! It's not even open anymore. They don't even have that right now.
I thought that was part of the semi-government shutdown.
God.
Was that pre-TSA was not going to be a thing, and global? I'm blanking on the second.
Yeah, global.
Entry?
We talked about a couple of global entry program or whatever it's called. Yeah, I mean the thing is that's kind of screwy because you pay for that. You know, I pay for it. Marla
I
says
pay
on
for
YouTube,
a lot of government things with taxes.
True. 2 hours before boarding is the general rule of thumb. Marla, that's where I am. Like I go 2 hours before. I can have some food and a drink or two to get myself all ready to go for the flight. It's grand. It's the best way to do it. And I don't have to run through the airport anymore. I tried that nonsense back in the day. Absolutely hate it. Absolutely hate it. Ardnas on Twitch says pre-check is open at MCO airport, at least, yeah, for them. So for some places, it is open, but some of these places have several hour backups. And I'm telling you, there are people who will come in at the last minute and they say, this is what I do. I show up 22 minutes before the flight, and then I can perfectly get through, and then I end up right at the gate on time. Just bite the bullet. This is the thing about flying that takes longer unless you fly private, which is genuinely a lot better. But, not within reach for so many people. It is genuinely a better experience getting on and off the flight. And you just have to realize that this is part of the issue. So the airports are absolutely swamped right now.
I like getting at the airport, getting there early, like just kind of no stress, get in there, get some food, get a drink or two.
You do the meme where you walk over and look at your gate.
Eyes on the gate, and then we go,
Gate exists. I'll be. The gate it's there. It's there. And then you walk back to wherever you're going, and it's just it's a catastrophe in a lot of places, but you're there early enough. They're saying, I live in Cleveland now, very small airport. You can get away with getting there an hour before your flight, but my anxiety, even in a small airport, you might want to be there early. But I see what you're saying. I used to fly in and out of Allentown, and when you would fly into Allentown Airport, especially when you were leaving, obviously you would go, all right, well, I've got to be there earlier. I'm always used to getting there about 2 hours earlier. And then I'd get to Allentown Airport or Harrisburg or some other like smaller airports. You'd get there as early as you're used to, and there's nothing to do, and there's not a lot of places that are open to eat or drink at. And when you get to TSA, there's nobody. There's tumbleweeds rolling by. And you go, oh, okay. So you could tweak it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be tweaks. I was just talking with somebody over the weekend about there's like certain flights into LaGuardia that if you're on some of the more budget airlines, they're at that like side terminal that's not, like part of the full airport, but it's actually so much smaller and like easier to get in and out of that TSA there is actually quite nice, just so you get through pretty quickly.
Yeah, but some of you people are problematic, like Jay Brewer saying 15 minutes from curb to gate. No. That's part of the problem, okay?
You
can't go
with no luggage.
Yeah. What are you home aloneing it through the airport, full speed running every single time? That's absolutely unhinged that you do that to yourself. I could not take that stress personally, but to each their own. You got that going on, so let us know if you're in the airports and your strategy on how early you get there at a time like this. Let us know with a dispatch over at thenewsjunkie.com or an email, tips@thenewsjunkie.com. Meanwhile, the Pam Bondi clip, which I don't have in front of me, but maybe we could find this, it just gets funnier and funnier to me because it's always weird when you say something like where Pam Bondi was like, have you seen the Dow is at 50,000? And when you do something like that, and then the Dow goes down for a little while, now every day I look and I go, oh.
I found a clip, but it is in auto-tune.
Oh, really? I'll take that. Yeah.
That was the first one that came out.
I'll take that. Yeah. Dow's down 378 right now at 47,123.
Sent it to the chat.
I saw I saw somebody post like a picture of the Dow, timeline, and there was a line drawn that was like, this is the moment where Pam Bondi said the Dow was 50,000. And it might not have been 50,000 at that moment, but it never got higher. It was just going down and down and down.
Oh, let's see. Hold on. Here she is. Pam Bondi.
I haven't heard this yet.
She said, the Dow is at 50,000. What are you, crazy? You care about this stuff? The Dow is at 50,000. The Dow! And then
damn.
Catchy.
Everybody goes, well, I would feel better if that was the case. And then you go check the stock market and you go, oh, God, the Iran thing. It's not 50,000. It's not. I'll just double check in case my numbers that I was looking at are wrong. You never know when fake news gets across on the show here. Is the Dow at 50,000? No, I regret to inform you. No, it's barely at 47,000 right now. The Dow's down 423 points. Gas is up. If you haven't checked, if you haven't been to the gas station today, gas is currently $5 million a gallon.
Ooh,
It has gone
fun.
up. Yeah.
Can I get a ride to work tomorrow?
It's we'll all probably take the bus.
I
here
filled
pretty
up
soon.
for a cool $74 this weekend.
Oh,
Damn.
see, that's brutal.
From empty to full?
That's brutal. That's brutal. And it's all because what's happening with the shipping lanes and stuff. And
We were talking about it the night before because I said to Ashley, my wife, I said the gas light came on the way home. I should have just topped it off earlier this week, knowing the gas prices were probably going to shoot up because everything's going on. And she did the thing that we talked about last Friday on the show, like, how bad can it be? How big is your tank? How much more money is this? And I said it's going to at least add like $10, $12 to my thing. She goes, that's not 10, 12. I spend that on cheese. If you spend, she goes, if you spend $10 on cheese, I would ask you why you didn't spend more dollars on cheese. And I'm like, I don't know why you're talking so much about cheese right now.
Cheese, man.
And then fast forward to the next day or two, she's in the car with me.
For the record, Celine's wife is Pam Bondi, just so everybody knows and is fully aware. And she clearly, I mean, she's not fazed by this.
So she talked a big game, and then she's in the car with me, and I was like, I got to stop and get gas on the way home. And I watched that as the thing. I had to go inside and get a soda, and I came back out. Came back, no cheese. No, came back out. The thing was still pumping, and I was like, "Oh gosh, it's so high!" And then it finally stops, and I look in, I go, "It's $74," and she's like, "Oh damn!" Like it's just like whoa.
I didn't want to tell you this, but the reason why it was $75 for you was because I pulled in after you, and when you went inside, pulled that gas hose over to my car and tried to get just a little juice of it, just a little squeeze. Rooney of the gas because it's so expensive.
I don't believe that for a second because the last time I drove your car, there was a gallon left.
A gallon goes a long way
when you don't go anywhere.
That Genesis just sits in the driveway. We take the Mercedes everywhere. We don't. I haven't driven that car, and I tried to this weekend. I said, well, one of the things on my agenda this weekend, I got to start my car, and it's just sitting there. I keep getting letters from I don't know how they know my mileage. But from all of the different car dealerships, and they're like, because your vehicle, Sean, it's a 2018 Genesis G80, but it only has 30,000 miles on it. They're like, we could give you great trade-in value. And I'm like, maybe, okay. So
is your car reporting, like, phoning home and telling the Genesis mothership how much miles you have?
It's phoning home, and it's like, no one's using me. What am I doing out here? What's the point of me existing? The Dow's not at 50,000, all right? The gas is almost at 50,000. Yeah. Down to thou to really bring that rhyme in, and God bless. And is this one of the Culkin brothers who is...
that's Mr. Berryweather.
Mr. Berryweather looks a lot like a Culkin. He's like, is the Dow?
He needs his glasses.
Is it at 50,000? Brutal times out there. If you filled up, let us know how much it hurts because oil is spiking. Went over $120 a barrel, and then I guess went back down. It's all over the place, and you can relate it to what's happening in Iran and the Strait of Hormuz, which is this area where they push a lot of the ships through that have oil. Even though we don't get a lot of our oil from Iran, a lot of the oil is having a hard time moving its way around the Middle East right now too. And so it's just kind of not great. Things are pretty expensive right now. And that is a brutal thing to think about. I have maybe one of the most insane stories of the weekend on the way. I have an announcement still. We didn't work that in here, so we're working it in the next segment. Then we got Amy Kaufeld right at the top of the hour. She'll be joining us. And let's get her ramped up. I think we could get her juiced up because I'm telling you, she's running hot on this daylight saving time thing. All right. She's not a fan. It's hit her hard, and I don't blame her. She's more affected by these things. Amy Kaufeld wakes up at the ass crack of dawn every day and goes and does work stuff. So changes like this probably have more of an impact on her. She's heated. Let's see what we can get out of her on that today. We'll see what's going on, and we'll give you that announcement and a whole lot more coming up next on the News Junkie.
Coming up tonight on Real Radio at 7, it's a corporate time with Tom and Dan. Brought to you by
Hello, welcome behind the scenes. Last time, I said, how are you? I'm going to abuse this power. I am going to abuse this power. Chat people, how are we? Hey, Double A. Tanya Morgan, how are ya? You say Amy K was raging about daylight saving? Does that mean she actually said frickin'? Close. She said frickin' hell damn. This frickin' hell damn daylight saving time. I think I can get her tuned up about this. I think so. Laheva Rasta, good to see you. Thanks for being around. Thanks for being alive. Hey, everybody. Bit of an announcement when we come back. Don't miss that. Got some emails rolling in. And we got to get to this IED in New York City. The protests, the Mamdani reaction. There's a lot to unpack there. And some pretty general craziness that's attached to this story. Like, these dudes actually threw an improvised explosive device with, like, screws and nuts and stuff in it at this protest to try to make it explode and maim and maybe even kill people. In New York City, get the rope. For real. Hang them. Did we get rid of the Twitch F-tards? Whoa, what the hell? Silent Coda says, CNN, teenager throws novelty firecracker at crowd of angry white supremacists. It was actually even more nefarious than that to me. The framing of this was protesters throw IED near Mayor Mamdani residence. And headlines go, they travel so much further than the actual stories do. And headline bias is a powerful big thing. And it happens all over the place. And when you say protesters throw IEDs, I've got the actual headlines saved. Protesters throw IEDs near Mayor Mamdani's residence in New York City. The average normal person is going to look at that and say, well, you look at this. You know, this mayor comes in and these people don't like him, and so now they're attacking him and trying to blow him up with bombs. And that's obviously, if you know anything about the story, not what happened. But it's a very interesting thing. The coverage was a mess. Hate the time change, just choose one and stop changing. We spent all of humanity not caring about this. And then what? Less than 100 years ago, we decided, hey, let's give it up for the farmers. And now we're stuck with it forever. It's a plague on humanity. I'm telling you, I'm going to get Amy K fired up. We know how they want to paint this picture. I mean, it would appear so. It just seems so misleading. It seems so dishonest. It's like, just tell the truth, for God's sake. I think the time change discussion makes me grumpy because we always talk about it. What? That's part of the problem. We always talk about it. We pretend every once in a while we're going to do something about it, and then nothing. Nothing happens as a result. If we didn't change the time, what happens? Probably not much. You're going to have some issues with kids being at the bus stop earlier and late, you know, like certain things with the amount of daylight. But mostly we'll be fine. Sun State John, true. Exactly right. Stay at this time. Let's stay at this time right now. The sunset around 5 o'clock does suck. It's the worst. That stretch of like maybe a 6-week period where it's getting dark in the 5 p.m. hour. After the show, I go to take a walk and it's dark already and I can't get any sunlight on me and it's ridiculous. An announcement coming up in 1 minute. 1 minute. We got rid of the penny. I'm confident we can get rid of daylight saving time. True. The world will cease to exist. It would get dark at 4:30 in Manhattan where I worked there. It was miserable. That's tough. That's one of the big problems is in winter with seasonal affective disorder, which you may know from The Office, but it's a real thing, is it's dark and cold and gray for so long. And that is actually not good for the human brain. I bet you there are a countable number of suicides as a result of this change. And I, for one, say, change it back. We're coming back. Announcement incoming. Here we go.
One Advice, IT solutions, and customized hardware powered by Intel Core Ultra processors help you stay ahead of the competition. Business goes pro with Lenovo Pro. Sign up for free at Lenovo.com/pro.
Lenovo.
This is the Duke's Country Song. It's a song about good mayo, Duke's mayo. It'll make any dish sing. Get Duke's mayo in store. It's got twang.
Real Radio 104.1.
On the bright side, we're not dead yet. You're listening to the news.
Welcome into the world's most viral newsroom. A fresh week ahead of us, and man, oh man, is there a lot to talk about. We're going to get to some of the bigger stories here as the show rolls on, and we got a whole lot more in store. We'll talk with our friend Amy Kaufeld in a matter of minutes here on the show, and I'm telling you, you guys, we got to lean into this a little bit. We have to, because I know she's heated about the daylight saving change, and I think we can maybe get a dang it or somebody said a friggin'. Is she using a?
I don't know. She is a professional. Remember,
she is. We might be able to get like a borderline curse word out of her. Like, I think we could get just a little more because she doesn't like this at all. We'll see what happens, and we'll get all caught up, obviously, with Amy Kaufeld at the top of the hour here in just a bit. We have to get to the IED story out of New York City, which is crazy to consider. I got an announcement for you. We'll work that in where we can, and I'm interested to see what you think about that. One thing I did want to talk about, one of my favorite stories of over the weekend was this marathon in Los Angeles. And when it comes to marathons, I have one memory that just always stays in my head on repeat in the marathon world. One? Not the Boston one, believe it or not, but my very own Boston marathon moment was I had a moment where I was at my house. I was sitting on my couch. I think it was a Saturday.
I'm ready for this to tie into running 5 miles.
And I'm like, my belly is hanging out of my pants a little bit. I'm eating food and I have a little bit of it on my shirt.
I'm getting deja vu from this.
And I flip it through the channels, and all of a sudden I stumble on something and I go, oh. And I'm in my slob moment, I look and I go, oh, the Chicago Marathon's going on right now. And I look and I go, yeah, I think that's my neighborhood. And I looked outside, covered in food, with still food around me, lounging on the couch, doing absolutely nothing. And I watched all of the marathon runners running down the street right next to me. And I thought, I don't think I'll ever be able to do that. Mm-hmm. I don't think I'll ever be able to do that. It is unbelievable. And there was a good and bad and ugly part about this weekend. And I think it brings us into a bigger conversation. I know a lot of people are into marathons. You guys know anybody that does this?
My cousin does all the Disney marathons.
Oh,
It's so popular.
Like she'll do what do they call it? Is it the Dopey Challenge or Goofy?
What's that?
I forgot. I know what you're talking about, though. There's one where there's a bunch of them that they do, like different lengths, right?
Yeah.
And you run all of the races and the 5Ks and the marathons.
And the stickers on the back of their car.
Oh, yeah, they're bragging about it. And good for them, man. It's amazing to be able to do this. To run a marathon is truly an amazing feat.
I was right. Dopey Challenge, 5K, 10K, half, and full over 4 consecutive days. Whoa. It totals 48.6 miles.
That's crazy. In 4 days? In 4 days. In 4 days, you run almost 50 miles. And it's impressive. It really is. And here is what happened. This is the finish line of the Los Angeles Marathon. I'm going to explain it for you folks, all right? The runners are coming toward the finish line. All right? Crowd is cheering them on.
Oh, no.
At the last minute, the guy in second place passes the guy in first place who's just kind of cruising a little bit. And he passes him right at the very last moment and wins the marathon right from underneath his nose.
And the other guy fell?
And the other guy falls. He falls across the finish line.
I think the other guy thought that he was going to feel some resistance from the finish line. And because the other person had broken the finish line, that's how he went down. So he fell because he thought he had this thing won.
Like the ribbon crossing the road was going to have a resistance against his chest. And he was going to lean into it. I'll lean into the ribbon. And then there's no ribbon. And he just falls onto the ground. And the other guy passes him at 2 hours, 27 minutes, 1 second on the clock. And he got beat in just absolutely the last couple of feet, I think. Here's another look of this.
Wait, is he within eyesight from us?
He's in the last. I don't know.
Here he comes. Here he comes.
No.
So let's get right back down to the finish line so we can watch Michael.
So it was so close. The runner I'm sure he's just going down the street. I don't know if he's looking behind him at all. He must be so sure, like, I'm winning this. I'm going to win the Los Angeles Marathon.
You know, if he were in a different situation and he might, hear people cheering and think maybe something's happening, somebody is coming up on me.
But no one could scream, "Hey, he's right behind you, go!"
Well, I think they're cheering A because it's happening, but B because it's the finish line.
Yeah, it's right there no matter what. And it's probably just like a numbing noise. You just hear, it's just a crowd. And this guy is running toward the finish line. He thinks he's got it in the bag. Nobody can get him now. And then the person in second place
hustling.
Yeah, he's just closing the gap. And then he's so close to the finish line. He's smiling. He thinks he has it.
No. Oh my God. It was
it
right
almost
there.
seems rude.
It's so brutal. It's like two horses, and one pulls out its nose a little longer.
He felt it. He saw it. It was in the last millisecond that the other guy won. That sucks.
That is crazy to me, this guy. It was like a photo finish. I'll put this up on See It Now so you can see what we're talking about here.
And then 6 hours later, it would be me, Sean, and C-Lane.
If
we
on a
finished.
good day, if we were lucky on a good day. And here's a freeze frame of the shot. A guy passes him in the last moment. He ends up winning, the person who was in second place, and the guy who was in first place does an absolute tumble to the ground. And it's just, God, I'll get a screenshot and video incoming to See It Now. It is just brutal. Then there was another part of the marathon world this weekend, actually the same marathon that got controversial, that I want to share with you. And I think we might have to hang on to that for just a moment here. But you got to see this marathon last minute finish. I'll put this up over on See It Now. You can check it out. If there's anything visual on the show, if I don't put it up, shout at me and I'll toss it up there so you can see what we were talking about. I never want you to feel left out because, I know you're not, you're listening. You're not able to take a look at all of this stuff. And you're not able to go over on YouTube and Twitch like so many other people are. So I want to make sure it's out there for you. And it is right now. It's over on See It Now. Take a look at that photo finish, you might say, over on the website. How are we doing time-wise? We got, I I don't think we have enough time right here, unfortunately. Well, I do have an announcement that I want to work in, but we'll push that until maybe after Amy Kaufel, because I do want to see just how heated she is. Will we get a damn? Will we get at least a darn out of her? Because she's usually very, very, very professional, but I think she's a little ramped up about the time change. I got more on the marathon front, including something that seems just insane to me that happened at that very same race. We got the IED story out of New York, and that's just in the next little bit here on the show. And all of that is coming up next on the News Junkie.
Make Real Radio 104.1 number one on your presets on our all-new iHeartRadio.
Hello, hello. Welcome to it. Welcome to it. Hey, mini announcement. Mini announcement. Yeah, it's on. Mini announcement for Skull Mike crew here during the break. We'll be back live in just a couple of minutes. Mini announcement. I will put up a goal this week. It will only be based on Secret Show subscriptions. Solely and only based on Secret Show subscriptions. And it will be for another bonus stream this weekend, featuring once more, by popular demand, the one and only Courtney, aka Dortney. Courtney on a bonus stream up for grabs. I'll tell you what the goal is. If you donate or sub before the goal, don't worry. Everything from now forward will count toward this goal. But we'll have a bonus stream opportunity for you. And we're back in a couple of minutes. We watched the movie Weapons on Saturday. Weird movie, and I have so many questions. Did you like it, Becky? I thought Weapons was great. Good example of a movie with not that big of a budget, but certainly the ability to take a decent budget and make a great movie out of it. And that is what counts. Did you like it? Great movie, huh? Yeah. Bootsy says brunch date with Sean? Sure. I got to tell you, I now know what my final meal will be. I now know. Because Courtney and I went to brunch at a place called Otto's High Dive this weekend. And while their Media Noche is an absolute banger menu item, one of the best things you can actually put in your mouth in Orlando, I had the desayuno breakfast that they have at Otto's High Dive. And I don't know if they saw me coming and stepped up their game or if they always do it this good, but black beans, plantain chips, eggs, 2 fried eggs, the best bacon I've ever had in my life, I kid you not. A thing of white rice right on top of it. And it was it was the best breakfast probably I've ever had. It was probably the best breakfast I've ever had in my life. That is what I want my final meal to be. That's what I want my final meal to be on this planet. The breakfast, yes. Yeah. It's not the desayuno scramble. I don't know what it's called. Desayuno. Hold on. 90 seconds. Otto's High Dive menu. Well, I want it to be brunch. Otto's High Dive brunch menu. Okay, autoshd.com. There it is. Desayuno fuerte. Fried eggs, bacon, avocado, white rice, black beans, tostones. The desayuno fuerte. Oh my God. That's my final meal. It was so perfect. It was so... Treat yourself, please. Treat yourself. Here we go.
In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
Win $25,000 in free impact windows from Reese Windows. Text TRUST to 20129.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
Live from the JustCallMo.com studios. Injured on the go? Just call Mo. From car accidents to personal injury cases, Mo has you covered. Visit JustCallMo.com or dial 1-800-CALL-MO. This is WTKS-FM, HD1 Cocoa Beach, Orlando. An iHeartRadio station guaranteed human. On a constant quest to stay calm, like that bear in the hammock. This is
So good to have you on board. A fresh week ahead of us. I got to tell you, we're ready to see what you say. I got an announcement coming up in just a bit here, and we'll get to your dispatches and emails over at thenewsjunkie.com. I don't know if anybody else is on board with me here, but I'm upset about this whole daylight saving time thing. And I'll tell you, judging by her social media, there's one person who's with me here. And I think this could get her fired up, but let's see what happens. Let's welcome our friend, Amy Caulfield from Fox 35.
Amy.
There she is. Amy, hey, how are you?
I'm so tired.
Yeah, I know, right? I saw your post. I saw Amy. I'm like, oh, Amy's saying, yeah, can we do something about this? Can we? It's about time somebody stepped up, and we need to get rid of this daylight saving time thing.
Now,
I don't blame
Amy,
you.
if you had your way and we just did one or the other, which one would you like to stick with? Daylight saving time or standard time?
Honestly, I don't even care. I really don't. Just give me one.
There we go.
At this point, who cares? Let's just pick it and stick with it.
Pick it and stick it. That's what we need to do. Yeah.
Like, it doesn't even matter. I'm so over it. And it honestly, it makes no sense. Like, if we go back a million years ago to why we decided to do this in the first place, the reasons that we chose back then don't even exist anymore.
Thank you.
So it
Yeah, they don't have
literally
farms.
makes no sense.
Yeah, we just do it like so many other things. We do it because we've been doing it. Why do
We're
you
like
do
robots.
this thing? Yeah, we are. We're robots, and we wake up and go beep, bop, beep. All
But
right,
doesn't
now.
it seem like this has gone faster than ever before? I swear we had a little bit more time between the last time we changed the clocks and then this past weekend.
No,
Yeah.
I mean,
Bodies
this,
just got used to it.
this is our spring forward. But did you, when you woke up, let's say this morning, Amy, you're getting ready for Fox 35 and popping on the TV in front of all the people, did it throw your schedule out of whack this morning?
Yes. Yeah, I used extra eye drops today to try to make myself look awake. I'm still trying. But here's the thing, you guys, and this is what's so ridiculous about it. You have the U.S. Senate has already passed the legislation to make this happen.
Yeah.
So it's called the Lock the Clock bill. Okay, that's what it's called. And then it goes to Congress, and for whatever reason, we cannot get Congress to agree to pass the legislation. It has to pass both houses. It has to go to the president's desk for signature. I don't understand what the problem is. It literally makes me crazy.
Yeah.
So Ashley Moody, one of the U.S. senators here in the state of Florida, actually tweeted this out yesterday. She said, today, Floridians reset their clocks yet again, losing an hour of sleep. It is time we pass the Lock the Clock bill and make this the last time we do this. And it has to, I don't know. It's just so funny. You can curse. Every member of Congress had said no and say, please explain to me why.
Yeah, grill them. Let's grill them. Yeah, this should be an easy thing. Somebody says, you're only talking about this because it's an easy news story. Well, obviously it's not. No,
It's not easy.
yeah, that's the
There's
problem.
nothing easy about this news story. I'm sorry.
The problem is it takes people actually making a decision that will probably be poorly judged for the first couple of times there's a switch or something, because people will be like, airport times are all up, destinations and arrivals, and there'll be a whole thing about how it's a nightmare.
We'll be fine. We'll get used to it.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay, you guys remember Y2K?
Yeah.
What happened when we switched over from 1999 to 2000?
Took me
Nothing.
2 weeks to get out of the bunker.
Nothing.
but-
I was literally in the room with Dylan's mother, and the timer was counting down. And I go, well, all hell's about to break loose. And the timer counts down to midnight, Amy. And I kick open the blinds. There's a little baby on the bed. Dylan was just born like a couple of months before this. And I kick open the blinds and I look outside and I go, seems pretty normal out there. And that's exactly what would happen if we finally did something about this. Yeah.
It's a much ado about nothing. I remember exactly where I was too. I was working in East Tennessee at the time, and it was all hands on deck. Everybody had to work, and we were all standing around like a bunch of idiots at midnight doing live shots from different locations, waiting for planes to fall out of the sky. And literally nothing happened. I was like, that was the biggest waste of time. So we all finished up our live shots and we went to the bars and went drinking. We were like, well, that was dumb.
That sounds fun, Amy. Can we do that again?
Amy, question for you first. We were just talking about this Los Angeles Marathon where the guy winning, he was in first place and he got passed at the last possible second. The second place marathon runner darts right past him and gets the ribbon and wins the marathon. Have you ever run a marathon? Have you ever done like even a 5K or anything like that?
No, I only run if people chase me. So no, I am not a runner. I did do middle school track. Does that count?
When was the last time somebody chased you?
Amy, comment on what just happened here.
I have to tell you. All right, so we were talking about this earlier, but here's the thing that got me. All right, I guess at the LA Marathon, they had this new thing that they're doing, and I don't like this. This doesn't make sense to me.
Are you talking about the 18th mile?
Yeah, they did something in the marathon where there was a turnoff. Yeah, I don't know, Celia and Sabrina, if you guys saw this, but there was a turnoff at the 18th mile of the LA Marathon. And if you took the turnoff, it was like, check in with yourself. See if your body is ready to make it all the way to the finish line. And if you don't feel like you have it all in you, no shame. If you turn off at the 18th mile, you still get the medal for completing the marathon. And they treat you in every way like you actually finished the marathon. So people try to do these marathons because they're incredibly proud that if they get to the end of it and they run the whole thing, which is an unbelievable feat, no matter if it takes you 2 hours or 20 hours, it's still a great thing that you've done, and it's an impressive accomplishment.
Yeah, but no one's there to clap if you're that 20-hour couple.
If you get all the way to the end, regardless of whether somebody's there to clap for you, Sabrina, you get the medal, and you put it around your neck with pride, and you hang it up and you show people. But now they're saying if you're a weenie, and you make it to mile 18 and you're like, I'm not going to make it any further. And you get off at mile 18th, they still give you the medal like a damn participation trophy.
No, it's part of the
I saw
fee.
that. That is ridiculous.
It's stupid.
Absolutely ridiculous.
It's stupid.
But here's the thing. Then just sign up for an 18-mile run.
Right.
Don't sign up for a marathon.
The problem is this is the same line of thinking that people use for all kinds of crap like this. It's the same line of thinking. And here's what I think about it. I don't go, well, what about these poor people who made it to mile 18 but just don't have it in the tank to make it the rest of the distance? First of all, stop telling them that that's not an accomplishment. Making it the 18th mile is still an accomplishment. You just didn't finish the marathon. And they shouldn't give you a medal like you did. And second of all, Celine, the thing that gets me is this is a disservice to all the people who do finish the marathon.
That's what I was going to say. It devalues the medal that you get when you finish the marathon. If the people that they're stopping at mile 18 get the same exact medal, if you don't graduate high school, you can get a GED for not finishing. Give these people the GED of marathon medals. Give them like a plastic. Hey, I tried and I got a good little run in.
You pay so much. That's just like the swag bag, but it's
give
a
them
medal.
an 18. Give them a little medal that says 18. You made it to the 18th mile. Congratulations. That is a
like
huge
candles
accomplishment.
on a birthday cake, kind of.
Barely finished.
Yes, but what it's not is you didn't finish the marathon, and it's somebody called it stolen marathon valor. Yes, it is. It is. God. And it takes away from the people who did. This is there's an overwhelming push for crap like this still, where it's like we must feel bad for these tiny amount of people who are in the marathon at the expense of all the people who actually do finish it. And it's like you don't have to pretend. You don't have to pretend that those people crossed the finish line because they didn't. So I thought that was really weird and dopey.
I wonder if they have numbers on how many people.
Do you guys think that the sorry, Celine, did you think that the Kenyan that fell across the finish line at the end?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that I think he was so shocked that the Michigan guy, like, I don't think he had any idea the Michigan guy was.
I don't think
him.
so. No.
And I think that it was more of like shock than anything when the Kenyan fell over.
No.
It turns out that the Michigan guy is he's a cross country coach, high school cross country coach from Michigan, I believe. He's 36. Anyway, I just
that's the thing
I just
with
wondered. I'm like,
cross-country.
it didn't look like, or maybe he tripped, like when he.
No.
I don't know.
Amy,
it didn't look like the Michigan guy like ran into him or touched him.
What it looked like to me was he was so sure that he was going to cross through that finish line that he was expecting resistance, that he could lean into it. And when the Michigan guy took it down, he leaned forward and just ate asphalt.
I bet you're right, Sheila. That actually makes sense.
That's brutal.
Find out last minute you're not winning the race, and you also eat asphalt.
The guys who won were from where? Where were they from?
Kenyan and Michigan.
The guy was from Michigan. The guy that won's from Michigan.
Because Kenyans are generally the absolute
fastest.
best
Yeah,
at this. Like the Kenyans are. You watch out for the Kenyan next to you.
And that guy was running away with it. No pun intended. I mean, the Michigan guy was quite literally sprinting at the end, which was crazy.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing I want to talk about in this world, believe it or not, we'll stay on the marathon thing for just a second here, because I was when I saw this come in, and keep in mind, I go for a walk / mild run each day after the show, and I mean mild, the mildest version of a mild run. And when I saw this story, this other running story from this weekend, I go, Courtney, I don't. You're not reacting like I expected you to. Like, I don't know if you know how amazing this is, but there is a guy who is running a half marathon this weekend, Jacob Kiplimo from Uganda, of course, and he runs the half marathon. I think this is him crossing the finish line. There he is, like going around the last final turn here, and he runs the half marathon. And his final time running this half marathon was 57 minutes and 20 seconds. All right. Now, let's do some quick math on that before we get to what's happening around the world with Amy Caulfield here. Half marathon is how many miles? Just run the numbers.
13 something.
13 miles. He ran 13 miles in 57 minutes and 20 seconds. What's the average mile time on that, C-Lane? 13 miles, 57 minutes, and 20 seconds. Run the numbers on that. Because I think that would put this guy around like close to 4 minutes for all of the miles he did for a half marathon. With like breaking the 4-minute mile is an unbelievable accomplishment in the running world. Yeah. And this guy basically got close to that for a half of a marathon, which is just unbelievable to me.
Average time per mile is approximately 4 minutes and 25 seconds.
That's
just less than that, actually.
That is unbelievable.
Where was that? Where was the half at?
It was in Lisbon, I think, which I believe is in Portugal, right?
Yes, correct.
And that's where this guy was running 57 minutes and 20 seconds for a half marathon. These people are just unbelievable. Anyhow, daylight saving time and marathons aside, and Amy Caulfield being fired up about the time change. What else grabbed your attention?
It is a real story.
Yeah,
Whoever
it is.
Listener was said it's not a real story.
They're wrong. Don't pay any attention to them. I'll ban them.
Story.
I'll ban them during the break. Yeah, no, I won't do that. I won't actually do that because then they'll put it on Amy Caulfield. What else was grabbing your attention today, Amy?
Oh, you guys. Well, we had quite a few stories over the weekend. I think that a lot of people are going to be talking about. Sadly, the motorcyclist on I-4 passed away this morning. The one that was rear-ended by an illegal immigrant. You guys might remember this story. It happened in I-4 in Seminole County. An illegal immigrant who had been arrested or pulled over several times before. was he? I don't think he even had a driver's license. And this is the one where the guy, and he had another woman in the car with him, and they kind of ran off and hid in the woods after they hit the back of the motorcycle. Sadly, the motorcyclist did not survive. So we'll be following up on that today. That's one of those stories that I would have thought would have gotten more national attention, but really hasn't. I think maybe the war in Iran is, it's just everybody's kind of focused in on what's happening overseas right now. But it's just one of those stories that I think is something that we need to pay a little closer attention to.
Oh my God. It was one of the stories, Amy, where you look at this guy's record and you say, I can't remember the amount of times that he got busted for either DUI or accidents. He wasn't supposed to be in the country. He didn't have all the proper, he didn't have like a license and all the stuff that he needed to be operating on the road at that point in time. And they just kept letting him out over and over and over again, as you so often see in these cases. And now the guy has a death toll because now he hit somebody else. And then finally, and it's like, oh, now you're going to take this seriously? And I continue to ask people to do the thing that nobody seems willing to do. Put pressure on the prosecutors who decline to go after these people or don't go after them in a significant way, and the judges who are so often so lenient with these people that they send them back out, and round we go, and until all of a sudden you end up in a situation where somebody dies, and if you don't know the story, the guy's record was just like unbelievable. All the times he had been pulled over for this stuff.
Yeah, it's bad. And as you said, Sean, it happens time and time again. You guys remember the kid in Daytona Beach a couple weeks ago that got his throat almost slashed all the way across. He was lucky to be alive. And the guy that did that had, not an illegal immigrant case, but the guy had just been arrested, hours before for an incident that happened at a gas station where he hit somebody. And, it's just this constant cycle, the revolving door, and you're right. It's one of those things that it's infuriating, especially for the victim, because something could have been done and wasn't,
Yeah.
Amy, you mentioned the kid in Daytona who got his throat slashed. Did you see the Fox News interview with him when his mother said he'd been crying a lot, and he looked at her like,
nightmares.
Mom, what the hell?
So embarrassing.
Hilarious.
That was one of the funniest things I have ever seen. And what was so funny about it is that it was genuinely real. This was not AI created. This was not he was really I'm sure Mom, after the fact, when she saw the facial expressions he was making, was are you kidding me?
Time out. Big time.
Yeah, that story went really viral. Like that really did end up getting a lot of stretch out there.
Is that guy out of jail yet?
I don't know.
I'm hoping not.
And that the one who slashed the throat, I don't think so.
The story that came back, for those who don't know, was that this guy who ended up randomly slashing this kid's throat and nearly killing him on the boardwalk, he had been in several other encounters that day with the police, including one where he had a hammer and he was threatening to attack some people. And there was a whole bunch of stuff with that guy too. And he had a long history where he was a mentally ill person with a penchant for violence when he had these sort of outbursts, and everybody just goes, well, what are we going to do? And people get hurt when you make these kind of decisions. That was another very, very frustrating one, I think, for a lot of people to read. Anything else grabbing your attention out there, Amy Kaufman?
We were just talking about the story that happened up in Gainesville, Georgia over the weekend. It's a heartbreaking story. These kids were out TPing, a teacher's yard as part of a prank. And I think you guys probably saw this where the teacher kind of came outside, not realizing what the kids were doing. And or maybe realizing it and not having any intention of, what happened next was that the kid sadly hit the teacher. The teacher did not survive. So we were talking about that story a lot this morning. And that's something that I think a lot of people are probably talking about across the country. This is like teacher prank time, or this is the kid time that seniors are doing these pranks, right?
The students were trying to prank the teacher. They were pulling like a fun prank of the teacher. And then when the teacher came outside, I guess they accidentally hit the teacher in the vehicle. Yeah. And the teacher died. And the pretty crazy thing about this, I want to get into this a little bit later on in the show, is the teacher's wife has come out and said she wants the charges dropped. She's saying she understands the gravity of what was going on here, but for her, or she doesn't want charges against these students who did this. And it's a pretty that's That's really taking the high road, you know. There's like this move on her part to say, like, I do not think these kids should serve any sort of jail time for
when you
this.
could, easily, emotionally, let that take hold and go throw the book at him, throw 2 books at him.
Yep. Yeah.
So.
All right, there she is, the best of the best. Ain't nobody
Love you
better.
guys. I don't know if you can still hear me.
We hear you. No, we got you loud and clear. Yeah, you know what this is? This is the government shutting you down, daylight saving time. See it happen.
We're going to fight for it. Come next year, we're going to get our time back or get more time. I don't know what we decided yet.
Follow her everywhere, Amy Kaufeld. Amy
Love you
Kaufeld.
guys. Love
and
you.
watch on
Love you.
Fox 35. There she is, the best of the best, Amy Kaufeld. We'll see you next week. All right, quick break. When we come back, we'll get to have an announcement to work into the show. We'll talk more. People are checking in about the airport situation. We got the IED in New York City and what happened there. There's a lot more to get to. It's coming up next on the News Junkie.
Real Radio is on Facebook at Real Radio 1041. Sponsored by the law offices of Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800.
Hello, welcome behind the scenes. It was just a prank, isn't a real defense. That's true. That's true. It was a huge mistake on their part. Crazy Drunk Cat Lady, I don't think that was a stream glitch. I think that was Amy Kaufeld's camera freeze. That's what I think was happening there. That's what was going down there. But yeah, I mean, it's quite the move for the wife to say, "You killed my husband. If you wouldn't have done this, my husband would still be alive." However, I can understand that this was a tragic accident, and I don't want any charges or any retribution in my name. I don't want these students to spend a long time behind bars for this horrible accident. Make of that what you will. I ask you this, chat. Would you do what she did? Yes or no? Would you, in that same situation, if your partner was a teacher and the kids were pranking him and he came outside and the kids accidentally hit him with the car and they kill him during this prank, would you take that high road? Would you say, no, I understand what was going on here. It was an accident. I don't want any charges against these kids. They feel bad enough anyways. Yes or no? Would you take that route? The wife doesn't want to ruin that kid's life? True. Yeah. And that is taking the high road, I think. Hello? Hi. If somebody ran over me during a prank and they killed me, and it was an accident, would you say press charges against them?
Fuck yeah.
You wouldn't take the high road?
Fuck no.
Oh, okay. All right.
Put them in jail.
For how long?
Straight to jail. The rest of their life.
The rest of their life?
Die in jail.
It was an accident.
I don't care. You're my person.
Oh, wow. I would say community service myself.
For me?
For the people who killed you, I would say community service. Yeah. But, like, hard, tough community service.
Right.
Yeah. Like, they wouldn't forget it. They'd be like, "That we had to clean the streets that time we killed Courtney. It was bad." Where are you going?
Out.
Okay. I wouldn't do that. I'd kill them all myself.
I would murder them.
I'd kill them with my bare hands if they hit you with their car.
I would cut them 1,000 times and then pour salt on their wounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
Got him. Okay, be safe. I was seeing how much time. Cut them 1,000 times and pour salt on them, she said. You guys better not mess with me. 1,000 times. Courtney No Mercy last name? Ain't that a thing? Rate my what today, Sean? Good point. We'll do that. We'll get to that and pop it out there after an announcement when we come back. "25 years community service. It's a long time. That's a long time. Sean would just want a highway named after her and then name it News Junkie Boulevard? Do you really think I would do that? Come on. Hey, another quick mini announcement. Mini announcements galore today. The first one, if you missed it, was we'll have a goal this week for Secret Shows subscriptions and gifted. And if you hit it, we'll have another bonus stream with Courtney. All right, another bonus stream this week with Courtney that we'll do, which was fun last time, and I think you guys will enjoy it again. The second thing is, I spent some time, as promised, because I'm a man of my word, this weekend, sitting at my desk, getting the work done. So every single one of you that claim gifts for subscribing to Secret Shows or gifting Secret Shows, they are all in the mail. Every single one of them. Every single Twitch person who claimed a random magnet, everybody. I did every, like Santa Claus. I did every single one of them this weekend. So those are all out and on the way. If you don't get yours within the next week, hit me up on an email and we'll see how you fell through the cracks. But I did them all, put all the shipping together, put them all on there. Good job doing your job. You know, come on. You say that, but you know how many people are like, well, clearly there's a team behind this, and you know, the team is gathered around. No, man, I gotta do it. You know, think I got enough going on? 90 seconds. Announcement coming up in just a moment. I say that with love. Do you, though? Do you? I'll sick Courtney on you. She'll cut you 1,000 times and cover you in salt. You heard her. 1,000. 1, 2, 3, 1,000. Salt. And Morrison salt. So it gets in all the crevices when you're all sliced and diced. Filleted like a fish. And then just the biggest thing of Morrison salt with a pourer ever. And just pouring out until you're covered and just your little head is sticking up. Sorry about that. We're coming back. We are coming back. Morton? Yeah, Morton. Sorry, Morton. Apologies, Morton. I don't know what Morrison salt is. Thank you, Vicious. We're coming back.
We're prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Your entire sports feed all in one place with iHeartRadio. Tournament coverage.
Launches a three. Got it.
NFL free agency.
Buffalo's got their quarterback, their running back. Now they've got their number one.
And the first pitch of the new baseball season.
At the wall! Oh, my goodness!
You're one tap away. Open the iHeart app and stream your local sports stations. Catch the latest news on Fox Sports Radio or dive into the world's biggest sports podcasts. Open the free app, search sports, and listen now.
For all your plumbing needs, go to modernpi.com.
Your front row seat to the most viral stories in the world.
Announcement, just a moment here. Thank you for being with us. Boys, there are a lot to talk about. We'll talk about what happened in New York City over the weekend. We'll talk about that teacher prank that backfired and the reaction of the now widow of this teacher. All of that in just a moment. We'll get to your feedback, emails, dispatches, and all the rest. But right now, quick announcement for you, everybody. Quick announcement. This has not happened in a while on the show. But I hope that you'll rally around. And I hope that you'll show up for this. It's been demanded for quite some time, and I think it's about time to pull this off. So I want to announce right now there is the very first merch drop of 2026 live on the website. Get the new hot merch while you can.
Hot merch. Oh, I used to have that clip somewhere. Damn it.
The new merch drop is up right now and going fast. It's called Play Black Whopper, which I think it's fairly obvious where that's going. And that is
timely, too, because of all the burger stuff that's been going on.
Yes.
It's our Freebird in a way. It truly is. It's our Freebird here. Play Black Whopper is the shirt title. And it's available in a black shirt, and a white shirt, and then tank tops, men's and women's tank tops you can grab as well. You can grab it right now while they last over on thenewsjunkie.com. This is a limited merch drop. They sell out every single time. This will be no different. And you have a limited amount of time to go grab your Play Black Whopper shirt. Now, I'll tell you, I also very much like, there's a tie-dye magnet that comes with this one. It's a tie-dye design. Pretty simple, but I think it really came out great. A tie-dye magnet that comes along with, and a sticker which takes the Black Whopper character and makes him a replacement for your Apple logo, even if you don't have a MacBook. It's perfect. I think it works out.
Wow, the news junkie.
Yeah, it's not going to be great for all parties involved, but go check it out. It's available for you right now over at thenewsjunkie.com for
that
a
is
limited
a
time.
Happy burger.
He's having a good time.
Yeah.
The Black Whopper coming out, and this is the free bird of the show. Play Black Whopper, available in black and white, the shirts, and, of course, tank tops as well. Limited time only. Grab them right now. Scoop them up. If you're a Secret Show subscriber, if you go to the website, you'll see a post in the featured section that says merch promo code. And if you click that, you'll get your promo code to get 20% off for being a Secret Show subscriber with a new Play Black Whopper shirt and tank top design. Then somebody's like, man, we're demanding hoodies. And I go, boy, this is a tough one because some of you are still cold as hell, aren't you? Some of you are still cold as hell, but if you're in the southeastern United States, then not so much. It's 89 degrees this weekend in the southeast. It's too hard to sell a hoodie with that kind of weather. But, get 5 of the T-shirts and stitch them together. Get them
5
out there.
in escalating sizes.
Yeah.
Just 2 of your normal size, and then 2 of your next up size, and then 1 of the next one after that.
Yeah, it is. It's like when they used to do the challenge where they put on as many shirts as they could on the internet. It's like that. Do that with this. Go over there to thenewsjunkie.com. Play Black Whopper is the name of the merch drop, and it's available for a limited time only, so go check that out. I did have the guy who... Is this the guy who won the marathon or the guy who got bested? I think this is the guy who won.
I think it's the guy who won because he had I see the mustache.
Yeah, this is the guy who won the LA Marathon at the literal last second, excuse me. Like at the last second, he snaked by the guy who was in first place. You know, it's kind of amazing. You see these guys after this quite a bit. I believe what you're seeing here, and I might be wrong. The dude who won the marathon, there's white on his face and on his neck. I think that's salt from sweating. I think that's
really?
Okay.
These dudes get so into it. They're out there sweating so much that they end up with like salt deposits from their sweat.
Sell
the
that
sweat
salt.
evaporates?
Because the sweat evaporates and then just the salt is left over on this guy. I think that's what that is. But I'm not a marathoner, so I might be wrong. But this is the guy who won at the last minute. The person who was in first place wasn't paying close enough attention and was kind of cruising across the finish line, and this guy darted right in front of him. Let's see what he says.
Hi, Nathan. John W. Davis here with the Southern California News Group. Congratulations on winning this marathon.
You did
As
it.
a fellow person from Michigan, I got to give you a what up, though, because I'm from Detroit. Congratulations, man. Talk to me about what it took to...
Is that our old coworker?
It sounds like it.
I gotta give him a what up, no.
What up, though? Yeah. Here he's talking to him, and he I guess he's also from Michigan, the reporter.
win this one at the end, just the last stride.
Yeah, so I always challenge myself to push, regardless to whether it's somebody to chase or I'm all by myself, because I want to know I finished giving everything I had, because I know I can always do that. You can't always win, but you can always push. And I was just super fortunate that effort gave me the win today, and it was a good challenge to get it. So.
He's tired.
It was a good challenge to get. Yeah, he's done. This guy's just crossed the finish line. You hear him cheering on the next people as they're crossing one by one on this Los Angeles Marathon. A 36-year-old high school cross-county coach from Jackson, Michigan. He won the 2026 Los Angeles Marathon in 2 hours, 11 minutes, 16 seconds, 50, capturing the title in the final stride of the 26.2-mile race on Sunday. Damn.
And may or may not be getting interviewed by our old friend D. Royale. That's
yeah.
Gotta give her one up now.
Unsure as of right now. Unsure at the moment. Tips at thenewsjunkie.com. M emails the show. Speaking of Michigan, look at this. Hey, junkies, the Black Whopper shirt finally did it. Play Black Whopper. He's talking about the new shirt design available on the website right now. Go check it out. Available in white or black or tank top. He says, I ordered my first shirt. It finally did it. He says, have a great day. Mike, warming up right now in Michigan, he says. Well, Mike, you still probably want to buy 3, 4, maybe 5 of those things.
Yeah.
If you're smart to keep warm for the next month or so in that area. So please do go over to thenewsjunkie.com, thenewsjunkie.com right now. We'll work in, you know what, we'll take a break because we got the next episode coming up next. And then after that, we will find out what's going on with your dispatches because those are coming in right now and I do not want to miss them. What's coming up on the next episode?
What's coming up on the next episode? A new survey is hoping to distract America from war with all the songs, shows, and movies that make us horny. The battle of the week, Timmy Chalamet versus opera and ballet. Plus, Casa de Riri has a few more holes in it after this weekend. All that and so much more coming up on the next episode.
And that is coming up next on the News Junkie.
Real radio is the Jim Colbert Show.
Have you ever been come on to by someone really older than you?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think I've
42.
I've never done that. I've never like hooked up with somebody like considerably older.
Hello, welcome behind the scenes. Skull mic activated. Z Kirk. Yes, Amy Caulfield has been on. You missed her. Amy Caulfield was on. You'll have to scrub back on the stream, which you can do on YouTube. Twitch, however, weren't they supposed to add the ability to like rewind a little bit and scrub back and forth on Twitch? I never saw that. It's basic platform functionality, Twitch. Basic functionality. No, instead what Twitch does is Twitch decides in all of their wisdom and glory to launch new ads that will not start until you interact with them. So the ad pops up and it's like, hey, let me know you're paying attention. And then you click the button and then they make you watch it. It's weird. It's like ad prison. Where it's like, hey, tell me you're paying attention. And you go, okay, I'm paying attention. And they're like, herpes sucks. It's the worst. But you can live a great life after herpes with Herp Busters. And you're watching the stupid commercial, and then finally you get to go back to your stream. Crazy. Kurt says you can, but only on desktop, not the mobile app. I'm telling you, I use Twitch on my desktop sometimes when I'm working and getting stuff done after the show. I'll put up a stream, see what's going on out there, and I've never been able to do it. Ever. 2 minutes and we're coming back live. Poros buy a lot of herpes meds? True. Herp Busters sounds legit. It's my new company. It's a startup. You want in? Ads are so bad everywhere. Au contraire. Crazy drunk cat lady. Ads are not bad for the people watching at thenewsjunkie.com on the ad-free stream for Secret Show subscribers. Quite cool. emails coming in. I'll get to these soon. We don't want no scrubs. Helps people keep on topic. That's fair, I think. It does make sure that everybody is at the same point and that it's as live can be. I think that is fair. All right, 1 minute and we're coming back for the next episode. Folks, do not forget, get your merch drop. It's available right now for a limited time on thenewsjunkie.com. Every shirt or tank top comes with a magnet and a sticker. Go get them, rep the merch, and do it right now while you have the opportunity at thenewsjunkie.com. God bless. Coming back. Here we go.
Wednesdays in March and April at participating McDonald's. Valid once per day. Must opt into rewards.
Are you a fraud-paying American? 1 in 4 tax-paying Americans have been victim of identity fraud. With LifeLock, your identity, if it's stolen, they fix it guaranteed or your money back. And last year, billions in refunds were stolen. Could be from your salary, overtime, or second job. Gone. But this year, you don't need to stay a victim. Because this tax season, fraud-paying American is something no American should have to claim. Save up to 40% off your first year with the promo code BECK. Visit lifelock.com. Terms do apply.
Power outage? You're still rolling with Everdoor. Get $75 off a battery backup opener today. Don't let the dark shut you out. Everdoor keeps you moving. Visit everdoor.com, the garage door that lasts evermore.
Filling in the gaps between the New York Times and World Star. This is...
In just a moment, we got a lot of feedback we got to get to here on the show on a Monday. That all is forthcoming. Bunch of stories that we haven't even got into just yet here, but we will. I promise. The IED story in New York and the coverage of that, this prank with the teacher a little bit more, where the teacher ended up dying. There's a lot on deck here on the show, so we will be getting into that here in just a moment. If you missed it, there was an announcement that there is a merch drop available for a very limited time over on the website. It's called Play Black Whopper. You can go grab the latest shirt design. It's shirts available in white and black, and also tank tops. They come with a magnet and sticker each. And right now it's up and available for you over on thenewsjunkie.com, thenewsjunkie.com, junkie with an IE. Scroll down and you'll see the image promoting the Play Black Whopper design. There it is, right for you. Grab it while you can. We'll also get into Rate My Blank and everything for today. That is not something that's going by the wayside. But right now, let's get into it. Let's do the next episode.
Because there's a lot on TV. You can't possibly keep up with all of it, even though you should, because what else are you going to talk about?
Shopping at Home Depot is the best place to shop. Shopping at Home Depot.
Yeah, huh?
Nothing. Weather's nice. It's time for the next episode with Sabrina.
More of a Lowe's guy.
Yeah, huh?
Smoke weed every day.
Hold up. The next episode brought to you by That Mortgage Guy Don, thatmortgageguyDon.com. That's his website. And when you go there, oh my God, it's so easy to both navigate through and start the process of refinancing your home, comparing your quote, getting your very first quote. When it comes to the mortgage business, it can be confusing and complicated, but alas, it is not when you're working with That Mortgage Guy Don. Plain and simple. There is no spam. There is no hassle. There is just That Mortgage Guy Don who makes it easy for you. Go to his website, thatmortgageguyDon.com.
Don't miss the boat. Compare your quote with thatmortgageguyDon.com.
It was 21 years ago, 2005. The tour bus driver of this group right here.
Oh.
Dave Matthews Band?
Dave Matthews Band is right. And it was on this day in 2005 that the tour bus driver Stefan Wohl pleaded guilty to dumping 800 pounds of human waste from his vehicle's septic tank through the opening grate of a Chicago street bridge.
It happened. Yeah, it happened.
I think it was 21 years ago. And there's a whole group of people that are just wincing. A little PTS doo-doo. Going through.
This feels targeted. Because not only are we commemorating the anniversary of when it happened, but now the anniversary of him pleading guilty to doing it.
Because it was a mystery for a little bit.
It never really was a mystery.
It was a bit of a mystery.
No.
It was a mystery. Who dumped the doo-doo on those people trying to just take
It's
the
not though,
boat
'cause
ride?
you just told us that the guy got sentenced, so we know who.
Then on this
did it.
day, it was the bus driver who put the doo-doo on that people on the boat.
People
on
are
the
so
river.
sensitive about doo-doo. It's really
Seriously,
a
grow
shame.
up. Grow up.
It happens, guys. We all poop.
And people are so sensitive about people just riding by their houses and shooting it up out of nowhere.
True. Yeah.
Hence the next story. Over the weekend, out of nowhere, Rihanna's house shot up.
What the hell? They said she was there too.
Yeah.
Her and ASAP at their Beverly Hills home while she was inside. No one was injured, fortunately, and the female suspect was arrested. In her 30s, allegedly fired between 7 and 9 rounds of an AR-15 style rifle.
What the hell?
While parked in her Tesla across the street. 4 rounds reportedly struck the house. A family source confirmed that A$AP Rocky was not at the house, but Riri was there. Unclear if the children were there at the time.
What do we take away from this? So some person gets out with a semi-automatic rifle on Rihanna's lawn, gets out of their Tesla, and lights this place up, fires all these bullets in the house. Rihanna's in the house.
3 of them get in, to the house.
Do we think this woman knew who Rihanna? Like, did they know Rihanna on a personal level? Is just a crazy fan?
Still investigating the motive, at least with the latest writing. They have not publicly confirmed what led the suspect to target the property. Investigators are expected to review surveillance footage and gather additional evidence as part of the ongoing investigation. Early reports, like I said, indicated no injury, but still a little bit scary. Also,
that's so crazy.
I assume not a gated community at this point? Or they're like, you have a Tesla. Go on in, gal.
I don't know. You know, the crazy thing is, a lot of the celebrities' houses are not super private in some of these areas. They do tours and stuff, and they drive you right up, and they go, this is this person's house. And there's maps
Map
that they
to the
sell.
stars.
Yeah, like you can find out with ease. Like I could go, where is Rihanna's house? And I'm pretty sure it'll just tell me, like, hey, here's where Rihanna lives, dummy. If you want to go to this house,
you have like
it's in Beverly Hills.
Down south, Star Island. I'm sure you're familiar with, Sean.
Mm-hmm.
And there was 2 times that I've gone to show people, what it is. One time, no problem going in. They're like, oh, go on, and we just drove around looking for Lil Wayne. Second time, they're like, you don't belong here. Please make a U-turn.
Jeez.
So I guess it depends on who's at the gate.
Sean doesn't really know much about Star Island. He's more a fan of Little St. James.
That's the Epstein's Island. No, I'm not. Okay? No. I'm not.
Speaking of shots fired, but this being the theoretical kind, we now have Timothée Chalamet versus opera and ballet.
Okay. All right.
Controversy. So over the weekend, the clip goes viral. It's an interview with Matthew McConaughey, and Timothy decided to share, and I quote, Timothy, and not me, I don't want to be working in ballet or opera or things where it's like, hey, keep this thing alive even though no one cares about this anymore.
True.
And they are mad.
Who's mad? The opera people or the... which group?
Both. Anyone, even folks that I think probably aren't. That was you.
Was that Pavarotti?
That was you.
Could be Pavarotti.
They immediately said, all respect, of course, to the ballet and opera people out there, but then took yet another shot. I just lost 14 cents in viewership. It's unclear how his family thinks about it, considering that he's kind of a Nepo baby. He grew up in a house of artists. The Metropolitan Opera in NYC, though, has shared a video showing the hardworking crew members inside the Opera House. All respect to the opera and ballet people out there. This one's for you, Timothy Chalamet. London's Royal Ballet and Opera said, ballet and opera have never, and I repeat, never existed in isolation. They have continually informed, inspired, and elevated other art forms. Their influence can be felt across theater, film, contemporary music, fashion, and beyond.
0 regular people chimed in on this. It was only the
People are like,
operas.
I did ballet classes when I was 8. So
I'm going to ask a stupid question, all right?
Ready?
Buckle up. Are ballet and opera not one and the same?
Wow.
Like, isn't a lot of ballet opera and opera ballet like they're working together? You see the person doing this thing, and then they're like, dum, 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 dum. They dance. They're together a lot, right?
I think that they happen often together, but not always. I think you can see an opera that has no ballet, and you can see a ballet that has no opera.
Thank you.
Don't say oof. Don't say oh, Sean. Look, I think it's a good take from him. No one really cares about this stuff.
Because you're a super Timmy fan.
It's
You love Timmy.
rich people. Of course I do. Like most normal people love Timothy Chalamet. He's a very talented guy.
I just love that you can say his name correctly now.
I worked very hard on that.
You've come such a long way from Chalamet.
I worked very hard. Now I know him, and now we're buds, and he does a great job. But like people pretend in the world of ballet and opera. I think there's a lot of pretending going on there.
Well, let's just bring everyone together, shall we?
No.
Okay. Well, at least one survey is trying to do that, because if there's anything we all can agree on, it's sexy times are fun times. Yes or no?
Okay. Yeah, yeah, definitely, yeah.
New survey found the...
Buddy, I don't know who you're trying to convince that you like sex.
100%.
This is a very weird thing that you...
Into it. Not ballet, not opera,
No, it's
sex.
Climaxing.
No, that's me singing opera to show you how easy it is.
New survey found the songs, TV shows, and movies that turn Americans on. At least 2,000 people that were asked, what is your favorite bedroom song?
Mm-hmm.
Now, we'll start with the movies, though. Dirty Dancing, very sexy, according to the survey.
Okay.
Followed by Pretty Woman, Titanic. Yeah. Surprisingly, 50 Shades of Grey.
Titanic.
Yeah, that one sex scene, I guess, in the car that fogs up.
All
Most
right,
popular steamy shows, Sex and the City. Disagree. 1,000%.
You don't think it's sexy?
One of my... Carrie's writing at her laptop. I guess I'll go get my tissues and moisturizer? No, thank you. Game of Thrones, The Vampire Diaries. Don't you guys use moisturizer for, like, jerkins?
I always watch it.
Yeah.
I've always found that to be a movie trope thing, but maybe it's a regional thing. I don't know.
You use conditioner instead or something?
No, it's no...
If I'm in the shower.
Orange is the New Black and True Blood.
Weird.
As far as the TV shows. And,
I didn't say where I put it.
I know where you put it. Adam Sandler told me where you put it.
Conditioner is better.
Any idea what the number one sexy America turn-on song is?
Turn-on song?
It turns you on. It's a song. What?
Genuine Pony.
Hot damn.
No, is that right?
You got it right. Congratulations.
I swear to God, I didn't see this. I just thought this is the song. The reason why I guessed this is because I thought every song when there's a sex scene that I can think of has this song as the sex song.
It's a sexy one. And did you know that is the it's a sample of a burp that they reformatted?
That noise?
Yeah.
It kind of sounds like it, yeah.
It's not. I made that up. On the boob tube, we have sports. Good luck to the Thunder, Clippers, Knicks, and Nuggets. Have fun, you guys. American Idol, The Voice.
Half of those sound like slurs, what you just said. The Thunder Clippers? The
Thunder, Clippers, Nuggets,
okay.
Knicks.
I thought there was a team called the Thunder Clippers. All right. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Thunder Clippers.
Could be an opera sensation for all I know.
Streaming premiere of Melania on Amazon. You can catch Kit Harington on Fallon. Follow your dreams and me on Instagram at Sabrina Ambra. Most importantly, say it with me, America.
Smoke weed every day.
Question.
Answer.
If you made that up and it's not true, that's a burp. What is that noise? Bro, like what is that?
It's a sample of some sort, right?
But it sounds like a human doing a noise, doesn't it? Like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it's like yeah,
blah,
yeah.
Blah. Yeah, that sounds like a person making a noise.
Producer listeners, please help us. And also
what
grab
is that?
Sean's audio and try to remake it, please. Do it one more time.
You could easily take that, and you could take what I have given you over the past week and definitely make an opera better than the most famous opera of all.
Wait for it.
With that voice, you could easily make something better. And I would tell you what the most famous opera of all time is, but I don't know. Phantom of the Opera? Is that an opera?
I don't know.
Or is Phantom of the Opera just a Broadway show based on a phantom who is going to the opera? There's rabbit holes here, but we'll try to avoid them.
Put some dirt in that hole. I don't know if I'm gonna dive in.
It's maybe not the most exciting, but we'll see. To each their own. Let us know how you feel about all of this and more. Send a dispatch over at thenewsjunkie.com, thenewsjunkie.com. Here's what we got. When we come back in the next hour of the show, one thing I want to do is, in jury duty, a story about a guy on death row that is unbelievable that we'll do in jury duty coming up this hour. But next, we have to talk about what happened in New York City with an IED. Somebody was throwing bombs over the weekend, just throwing them like in broad daylight with cameras on them and everything. You see this guy throwing a bomb, and there was some fallout from this, obviously. We'll see what happened. We'll go over this story and all the twists and turns, and then into the teacher prank story and a lot more in the next hour of the show. That's coming up next on the News Junkie.
Traffic stop and go now on I-4 eastbound before US 27. The right lane's blocked due to an accident. Traffic's backed up from Old Grade Road. There's a semi stuck in a ditch on I-4 eastbound near US 92. That's going to be there for a while. Emergency crews are blocking the right lane. Expect some slowdowns heading towards that area. And if you see traffic troubles, call the Valvoline Instant Oil Change Traffic Tip Line at 866-676-8477. From the Traffic Center, I'm James Birmingham.
This report is sponsored by Tri-County Metals. Contractors and homeowners. Installing a metal roof? Don't leave money on the table. Register your Tri-County Metals factory direct rebate for up to $500 back at TriCountyMetals.com.
Hello, my friends. Are you looking to upgrade your appliances? Well, did you know that LG is rated America's most reliable line of appliances? You can even enjoy a 2-year warranty on select appliances. So what are you waiting for? I'm Sabrina from the News Junkie, and you have got to go see my friends at Southeast Steel Appliance Warehouse, right there in downtown Orlando. Their experts can tell you all the features and the benefits of LG. They did it for me, and I am in love with my LG laundry pair. Save now during LG Appliances March Madness. Skip the big box store and shop at Southeast Steel. Trust me, at Southeast Steel, you get the best deal.
This Earful of Real Radio is brought to you by crimeline.org. Give a tip anonymously.
Hey Orlando, Joe Rossi here for Greenway Kia. It's tournament season and the deals are tipping off. As interest rates drop, we're driving them down even further with financing.
That is cool. That's awesome. Hello. Welcome to the show. Welcome behind the scenes. How are you? Sean does not really live next door to a Waffle House, I'm pretty sure. Wrong. There's a Waffle House on the other side of this wall. Right here. It's how I get such an affordable deal on this studio space. I have a shared bathroom with the Waffle House. There's a tax guy, I think, right over there as well. But yes, this is a shared wall with a Waffle House. The kitchen is right over there. Very, very close. I have to pretend to be responsible an hour earlier today? Don't we all? I only bang to the Cake song, He's Going the Distance. All alone? All alone? And a time of need. Bootsy says it smells delicious in the studio. You see, she's been in this studio. She knows about the neighbors in this building. It is a big yikes out there. Oh, come on! Log me out of chat over here. What kind of absolute bleepity bleep? Please don't make me do this. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Now that moved. Now that moved. A bunch of bull. Stand by. Okay. All right, I think I fixed everything. Let me come smell the studio? Well, that's weird. It used to be the storage room that they kept the Aunt Jemima syrup in. Don't say Aunt Jemima, please. It's banned. That is banned in this chat. YouTube and Twitch, hey, how are you? If you're new around here, please hit that subscribe button. It's greatly appreciated. There's a merch drop up right now. Take a moment of time, if you don't mind, and grab the latest merch item while they last over at thenewsjunkie.com. Thank you for your order. Thank you for your service. What about Uncle Ben? We don't talk about that. Second half of the show is on. We're going to talk more about this prank gone wrong with a teacher. We're going to talk about the IED in New York City and the reaction to it, because that's an interesting story. And it just shows you how unhinged some of these people are. We have a problem, and it's sort of a blanket problem, with extremists in the United States of America. We have a lot of extremists. We have these people that we have put up with for far too long. And some of them are very willing, as you could tell, in New York City, of engaging in potentially terrorism, which is crazy. But I'll get into the details in a minute. Mock Donnie? No, that ain't right. That you're missing a couple letters. Yeah, you got the things all wrong. Only Quaker Oats is allowed to have a mascot. Pay no mind that all of the ethnic mascots have disappeared. Talk about an obliteration of representation in the food aisle. All done by a bunch of whites, too. Unbelievable. Massacre the food aisles. All right, here we go. God bless.
Guaranteed or your money back. And last year, billions in refunds were stolen. Could be from your salary, overtime, or second job. Gone. But this year, you don't need to stay a victim. Because this tax season, fraud-paying American is something no American should have to claim. Save up to 40% off your first year with the promo code BECK. Visit lifelock.com. Terms do apply.
Lose weight on a GLP and start for free at redmountainweightloss.com.
Broadcasting live from the JustCallMo.com studios. Injured on the go? Just call Mo. Visit JustCallMo.com or dial 1-800-CALL-MO. This is WTKS-FM HD1 Cocoa Beach, Orlando. An iHeartRadio station. Guaranteed human. Mainlining today's top stories. You're listening to the News Junkie, Sean Wasson.
Unbelievable. I'll explain in just a moment. And we'll talk about what the hell happened in New York City over the weekend. New York City. Details on the way in just a moment. Dispatches, emails, all the rest. But real quickly, I just saw somebody post, and let me bring this up so I can get a couple more details on this. Another story about this Los Angeles marathon, believe it or not. And they said new footage shows the runner from Kenya, Michael Kamau, I hope I'm getting that right, Michael Kamau, following a motorcycle that was exiting the course around mile 26 of the LA Marathon just moments before he was passed by Nathan Martin. So this guy there was another person who was in the lead. So here he goes. He's cruising down the road. Men's lead at the LA Marathon. And the car pulls off the road, and the motorcycle pulls off the road. Now, these are all the people who just kind of gather to celebrate and cheer on these folks for the grand accomplishment of running very, 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 very far. All right, there he goes. Now he follows. There, he's going the wrong way. He's following the motorcycle. He notices right now, and he's turning around.
He was still in the lead?
Yeah.
He almost did the thing that those other runners did.
Yes, he almost followed the wrong way. This just happened to some of these people who were running like this, and they thought the cars that they were behind, in this case a motorcycle, were showing them where to go next.
Well, can we revisit
it was the
this?
wrong way. Yeah.
Maybe get some better drivers because these folks are following them?
It's clearly confusing for them, obviously, right? Like
Why do we have it? Is it a pace car or is it just a random car?
They said he was also seen having to avoid a woman who had ran in front of him, which likely added to the confusion. So this guy is on the final. He's on the final stretch of his marathon, and he's winning. And then he accidentally follows a motorcycle going the wrong way, and then some crazy lady jumps in front of him, and he's got to work his way around the crazy lady who runs out and confuses him. And then at the very end, inches from the finish line, the guy who was in second place ekes in front of him and gets first place, snatches it from him. Unbelievable. That was a wild last little bit of that marathon for that guy. And I'm sure next time there will never be any whelp. I've been running for long enough. I know that I'm in first place. I don't need to juice it all the way to the finish line. I'll be fine. I'll cross right here by myself. I think it'll be full speed all the way through. Over on Twitch, they say redo the race. I don't know. I don't know about that. That's a lot.
The last part of the race, because that sounds like a nightmare.
You don't want to get everybody out there all over again. We ain't got time for that. I don't think that's happening. All right, there is a big story out of New York City this weekend. And some of the reporting on this was pretty janky, if I'm honest with you. So I'll tell you how this was reported a little bit, and then I'll explain what happened. So here's one headline from NBC News. It says, device ignited at Gracie Mansion. All right, that is, just so you know, that is the mayor's mansion in New York City. And this headline says, device ignited at Gracie Mansion protest was an improvised explosive, according to the NYPD. And it says, two men were taken into custody after one of the two devices was ignited during an anti-Islam demonstration and counter-protest outside the mayor's residence. So there was an event going on, and I'll explain it all to you in a moment. But at the event, these radical Islamist guys tried to openly throw bombs at the people who they were disagreeing with and fighting with at this protest. Like, they literally grabbed the bomb. I think this is the footage for those of you watching. I'll put it on See It Now, too. I think this is the guy right here. He's one of the two that was arrested, I believe. And you see him, all right? He grabs... He's running away from it now, I think. Hold on. All right, there he is. He grabs from his friend this bottle. The bottle, he's lighting the bottle right now. He's lighting a fuse on the bottle right now. The bottle is full of screws and washers and nuts and things that are supposed to blow up with it and cause shrapnel, right? Like an improvised explosive device or an IED would. And so he's openly lighting this bomb, right, on the middle of the street. Then they end up arresting him. By the way, when they're arresting him, there's people who are part of the protest who I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and assume that they didn't know what was going on because they're like, who is your point person? Who do we need to call to make sure we bail you out?
Badge number.
No, they're talking about the guy who's getting arrested. They're worried about the two dudes who are being arrested. They were arrested because they threw bombs. They threw bombs at the other people who were protesting here. So then they arrested them both. And they're both, I think, both teenagers, 18 and 19 or somewhere around that.
I got to say, for
These
throwing
guys.
bombs that fortunately did not ignite,
Mhm.
it's such a crowded scene still.
Yeah.
It's not like everyone get away or, SWAT teams coming in or the robot that checks the bombs. Everyone's like, all right, we got them arrested. Now we're going to kind of just walk them around and see what's going on.
They didn't know. Stay by the dump button if you don't mind, Sabrina.
Ready
There was
to
a
dump.
guy. There was a guy who was part of the protesters. This is a good example of what was going on here. And he's going, everyone is welcome. Everyone is welcome in the neighborhood. And he's saying his piece. And then it's over his head that they throw the improvised explosive device.
We were born and raised in New York, and we want everyone here to stay in New York. You don't get to come from outside and then tell everyone else.
So this guy is literally like, we want everybody to be in New York. We want everybody to be able to be okay here. And then the guy literally jumps up on his back and throws the bomb over him into the protest. Like, there's cameras everywhere. His face is so obviously clearly here. You can
Jeez,
see
what an angle.
We don't need much of a case here. I can see the improvised explosive device in his hand. It's right here. He's holding it right now. In fact, I'll get a snapshot of this moment for this video, putting this up on See It Now here momentarily. But obviously just unhinged. Now, I'm going to explain to you, as I said, exactly what was going on. But some of the articles were pretty crazy in terms of, like, it seemed like you would read the headline and think something totally different happened. Like, this says, smoking jars of metal and fuses thrown at protests near the mayor's house. Bro, what the hell? Smoking jars of metal and fuses? It was an IED. The guy made a bomb, and the NYPD confirmed that it was an IED. Then this one says, 6 arrested after smoke-generating suspicious device thrown during dueling protests at Gracie Mansion. A lot of the headlines were like, hey, there was a protest here, and people threw IEDs near where the new Muslim mayor of New York City lives, Mamdani, who's at this place. And that is just absolutely going to give people the wrong view of what happened here. Here's what did happen. What happened is there's a guy named Jake Lang who is rabble-rouser, anti-Muslim type, okay? And he is out there campaigning against cities that he thinks are becoming Islamified, like in Minnesota, and he thinks New York City, there's too many of these radical Islamic people moving in. Sort of proving his point, by the way, by throwing IEDs at the guy when you show up here. But this guy is a confrontationalist and a person who's a rabble-rouser. He goes to these events. He might tear up the Quran. He might hit the Quran with a slab of bacon or go through and say things that are offensive to the Muslim people that are part of these protests.
Hit the Quran with a slab of bacon.
He's done all these things. He'll drive through and say stuff that gets them upset while they're doing an event or whatever. This is what this guy Jake Lang, I guess, is up to. Now, here's the way it was framed by the mayor. It says, yesterday, white supremacist Jake Lang, I don't know if he's a white supremacist or not. This is just the language that you see some of these people using and referring to him. I think that he is against Islamofascism, and he sees that he thinks going on in New York City. I think he's a Jewish dude, but I don't know too much about him at all, other than I've seen some of the videos of these clashes. But Mayor Mamdani in New York says, yesterday, white supremacist Jake Lang organized a protest outside Gracie Mansion, that's the New York mayor's mansion, rooted in bigotry and racism. Such hate has no place in New York City. It is an affront to our city's values and the unity that defines who we are, says Mamdani. What followed was even more disturbing. Violence at a protest is never acceptable. The attempt to use an explosive device and hurt others is not only criminal, it's reprehensible and the antithesis of who we are. I want to thank the brave men and women of the New York Police Department who acted quickly to keep New Yorkers safe. Our officers ran toward danger without hesitation, demonstrating once again the courage and dedication it takes to protect this city every single day. My administration is closely monitoring the situation, and I remain in close contact with our police commissioner. Now, all of these things seem to kind of by omission hint at the same things. And it wasn't this guy, it wasn't this counter-protester dude who had anything to do with the IEDs. He was, whether you hate him or love him, expressing his right to free speech in the United States of America. And he was part of a protest or a counter-protest, whatever you want to call it. And it was the Muslims who were at a protest in the area who threw the IEDs at him. But just saying what followed was even more disturbing. Violence at a protest is never acceptable. The attempt to use an explosive device and hurt others is not only criminal, it's like technically he's not lying, but all of the framing of this story seemed like so dishonest. Like it would take the average person who just read a CNN headline and they would have no idea what happened here, or they think this guy was responsible. I have the press conference. Let's see what they said. This was this morning. Here's the mayor talking about this. To be clear, there was the guy who is undoubtedly trying to be controversial and inflame these people, Jake Lang. He was with a very small group of people. They're against what they see as radical Islamists gathering in Manhattan. There have been several groups of these people gathering in Times Square and in other areas where they absolutely are like Islamo-fascist nut jobs who certainly are a concern. He's a pretty nasty individual himself as well, so I don't defend him or whatever he's doing. But certainly, he's on to something with the people that he was talking about here, and that's proven even more so by the fact that they tried to blow him up and everybody else around him. Here is the mayor of New York. Let's see what he says. He's got the police, I think, behind him here coming up. This was this morning at a press conference.
Good morning. On Saturday, a protest was held outside Gracie Mansion, where I live with my wife, Rama. Neither of us were home at the time. This was a vile protest rooted in white supremacy entitled Stop the Islamic Takeover of New York City. I'm the first Muslim mayor of our city. Anti-Muslim bigotry is nothing new to me, nor is it anything new for the 1 million or so Muslim New Yorkers who know this city as our home. While I found this protest appalling, I will not waver in my belief that it should be allowed to happen. Ours is a free society where the right to peaceful protest is sacred. It does not belong only to those we agree with. It belongs to everyone. I will defend that right every day that I am mayor, even when those protesting say things that I abhor. Let me also be clear about something else. New York City will never tolerate violence, whether from protests or counter-protests. Many of the counter-protesters met this display of bigotry peacefully, with a vision of a city that is welcoming to all. But a few did not. Two men, Amir Balat and Ibrahim Qayyumi, traveled from Pennsylvania and attempted to bring violence to New York City.
Crazy, man. These teenagers, like 18 and 19, they travel from Pennsylvania. They're so radicalized on this front that they're willing to go and confront this guy for being offensive in their eyes. And they're willing to throw an explosive with like screws and nuts and stuff in a jar to blow up and hopefully injure and maim Boston bomber style as many of these people as they possibly can. That's America. Like, that's crazy that there are this level of thinking is occurring out there, but it is. And these guys, as you just heard him say, went from Pennsylvania to New York to do this.
They are suspected of coming here to commit an act of terrorism. There is video of these two individuals throwing two devices towards the protest. The police department has determined that these were improvised explosive devices made to injure, maim, or worse. Thanks to the swift and decisive actions of NYPD officers at the scene, both men were immediately taken into custody, and the devices they brought taken off of our streets. I want to commend the officers who were on site. They faced a chaotic situation that very quickly could have become far more dangerous. NYPD Chief Aaron Edwards and Sergeant Luis Navarro ran towards the danger so that others could run to safety.
Yeah, there was a pretty crazy moment here. So this absolute loser, this radical Muslim loser out there trying to blow these people up, tosses the improvised explosive device, and it lands, and people didn't quite know what it was. So there was people kind of gathered around it while it was smoking, and they were confused as to what was going on. And then there was another one that was tossed, and I think they might have even found some other ones in the area. But the police looked at it, and Sealine, look this up because I've not heard of this before. It was something called TATP. TATP was what the tests came back positive for. Triacetone triperoxide?
Triacetone triperoxide.
Triperoxide? What the hell is this? It's some sort of explosive, obviously, that they have put in this thing.
It says it's the most notable peroxide explosive and has been deployed in several terrorist attacks as explosive filling of improvised explosive devices.
Is that something you could just order online?
I don't know. Good question. I don't know where we get that.
Organic peroxide and a primary explosive produced by the reaction of acetone and hydrogen peroxide to yield a mixture of linear. It sounds like something you could make out of hydrogen peroxide.
It does, yeah. It sounds like one of those bombs you kind of make at home. And then in this case, they had jars wrapped in black tape with nuts, bolts, screws, and a hobby fuse. And they were both active devices that could have blown up and killed these people.
Oh, my. There's a nickname for this stuff that's doesn't sit well, I think.
What do they call it?
New York Post says self-radicalized ISIS protesters used explosive called Mother of Satan inside bombs thrown at the Gracie Mansion protest.
Right.
Okay. I've not heard of this before.
Right to the point.
Mother of Satan? And does it say whether... I mean, it sounds homemade from what you're doing.
It says a pair of ISIS-trained extremists, this is the New York Post, were charged with hurling an IED at Gracie Mansion during a rowdy protest weekend, allegedly packing the homemade bomb with Mother of Satan, a volatile explosive favored by international terrorists.
Yeah, I mean, the response to this is kind of crazy to me. I'm putting this up on See It Now as I'm talking right now. And like I said, let's say this guy is the worst person in the world who's protesting. It just so happens that we're going to have people who have detestable opinions, people who are going to have opinions you find to be offensive or hurtful or whatever. And one of the key elements that we used to have that many people have lost sight of as part of the American experience is the true reality that people have differences of opinion on things. All right. People have differences of opinion. And if somebody disagrees with you, murdering them and blowing up a protest that you disagree with an IED is just unbelievably un-American in every way possible. And then there's a lot of people who are like, well, we have to be careful in how we handle stories like this. Hard pass on that. This is terrible in every way, and these people should be called out. And it shouldn't be like, well, the other guy was really bad too. And then the other guy was using words. And the person who, the two people, teenagers who are now in custody, were trying to blow up people for using words. And that is a absolutely frightening thing that should be not something that you hand wave or go like, well, he shouldn't be inflaming them, or, this guy's a Nazi, or whatever excuse you want to gin up there. And I thought Mamdani at the press conference I played was fine. That sounded, like he was telling the truth and explaining everything here. But there was so many examples of this in headlines and stuff where people wanted to pussyfoot around it. Like, this is unequivocally bad. People are allowed to disagree with you. They do not have to agree with everything you say. And we can't allow in America the idea that anybody you disagree with, it's punishable by murder.
Correct.
It's punishable by acts of terrorism and IEDs, and all of those things are as un-American as anything could get. And everybody who believes in that, and everybody who agrees in that, everybody who agrees with that should be ejected out of this country, right? That is a wholly un-American thought to say that everybody should agree with me or I'm going to attack them. But yet it's here where we are in some of these cases.
Are you saying the people that use the violence or those that agree that violence is okay should be ejected?
Saying anybody who agrees with what was done here with the tossing of these IEDs over disagreements, anybody who justifies the use of violence or death on account of a disagreement with between people should be ejected from this country. That kind of ideology should be completely stomped out. in the United States of America. I think it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. We've gotten to a place like this, and we need to get out of it. We need to go, look, we choose our politicians at the ballot box. We choose the future of our country at the ballot box. Your neighbor can disagree with you, and you guys can maybe just talk about other things other than politics, which is a good idea anyways. And it is never okay, no matter what you think, if your feelings are hurt or if you're upset by somebody's opinion on something, to reach out and be violent like this. That to me is just inexcusable and un-American. But there you are, and there's some of the reporting of this that you've probably seen over the weekend. Let us know what you thought. I did put the video of the guy because that's the craziest view of it to me. That dude he had a megaphone, and he's like, well, everybody should be able to be in this neighborhood.
We were born and raised in New York, and we want everyone here to stay in New York. You don't get to come from outside and then tell everyone else.
And then right over his head.
Uses him to launch it.
And then he runs. He just runs full speed the other way. Like, this guy's toast. I mean, if he is not toast, we have a bigger problem in New York City. But all the evidence is there. This is an issue that should be cleared up pretty easily. All right, we'll see what you think. Send a dispatch over at thenewsjunkie.com. Boy, running late. We will take a quick break. When we come back, Live Nation has settled the antitrust case over Ticketmaster. What is happening? Let me know what you think about all of this. Is coming up next on the News Junkie.
Real radio is.
Hello, hello. Welcome behind the scenes. Welcome behind the scenes. That is a very naive take by Sean. Explain to me how it's naive, please. Why is that a naive take? To reiterate, my take is countering words with violence is unacceptable and un-American. Countering words and things that hurt your feelings with death and violence is a destructible ideology that should be rooted out. We do not counter words with violence in the United States of America. That's not part of the American experience. We should be a cornucopia of different thoughts and ideas like America has always been, and united in our divisions in many ways. And countering words with violence is bad. That's my hot take on this that apparently is naive. Tell me why that's wrong, please. Okay? Tell me why that's wrong. I'm waiting. Ethan says Sean's going to do a skull mic and tell us we're stupid. I'm not here to tell you you're stupid. Tell me why I'm stupid and why I'm wrong about this. That's my fiery hot take. Countering words with violence is un-American, unacceptable, and shouldn't be allowed in the United States of America. All right? That's my hot take on this. Tell me why that's wrong. I stand at attention, waiting for your response. Not in a weird way. We'll get to this Live Nation Ticketmaster settlement. What does it mean? Mailbox money? Perhaps mailbox money? The anti-Islam protesters also fought as well. They didn't just use words, not defending the terrorists, just saying. What was going on other than the criminality of tossing the IEDs? Because I haven't seen anything else. I haven't seen anybody violating any laws other than just saying offensive things. I don't know if you're filling in the blanks and making things up. It's not a hot take. Last time I checked, call me crazy, but isn't the First Amendment designed to protect unpopular speech? True! That used to be the point. But then people decided that disagreements were enough to sever relationships with your family members, that silence was violence, that the proper response to debate was shooting and killing people or blowing people up. That is the kind of extremist ideology that is often rooted in the countries where some of these people come from, and they can fuck right off with it. Fuck right off back where you came from. Don't want that here in America. I'll fight for people to be able to speak their mind and say things even if they're deemed unpopular, and that's never going to change with me. 90 seconds, and we're back. Sean, where can we hear Black Whopper? We just played it. We just played it on a best of. Remember the day when we had a meeting or something? And people did play Black Whopper. And we played it. And people had fun. They went nuts. And now you can get the merch, thenewsjunkie.com. This is Sean's bread and butter. You won't win against this. He's a big free speech advocate. I am as tired gets of free speech being a one-way street, of the flexibility of being able to hear people who disagree with you being a one-way street. And I think that's a really bad thing. I think what we need is to go, okay, you think this and I think that, and never the twain shall meet. Like, we're never going to agree on this. Guess what? You vote for your people, I'll vote for my people, and whoever wins, wins. Settle it at the ballot box. It's absolutely disgusting that we have to even have this conversation. All right, here we go. Here we go. Wait till you hear this jury duty story, by the way, in just a bit after this segment. Crazy.
People closest to the biggest issues happening in your community and around the world. This week, I'm joined by investigative journalist Julie K. Brown. She is the utmost expert on the Epstein files.
The Justice Department, through, I think we counted 4 presidential administrations, failed these victims.
Open your free iHeart app, search Bleep with Anna Navarro, and listen now.
Win $25,000 in free impact windows from Maurice Windows. Text TRUST to 20129.
Tackling sensitive subjects with unparalleled irreverence.
About the show over at the website, thenewsjunkie.com. Go grab that merch while you can. A merch drop. That's right. A merch drop right now. Go get at it at thenewsjunkie.com. The Play Black Whopper design. It's the Freebird around here on the show where people will say, and we just played this. People are like, oh, where can I hear the segment? I haven't heard the segment. I need to hear the segment. We just
That's
played
why it's
Black
like the
Whopper.
Freebird. You know, you got to be there. You got to, it's special.
We had a meeting or something, and somebody said, play Black Whopper.
Yeah, we had that
And
call we had to get on.
Yeah, we did. But you can go check out the new design over at thenewsjunkie.com.
Real quick, I was going to bring this up last segment, but we were incredibly behind. But speaking of the protests and all that, did you guys happen to see over the weekend who was arrested in New York for some protestery? It's somebody that we've all met.
Really?
Somebody that one of us has performed with.
Oh.
Really?
Harvey Danger?
No, the Israeli-American rapper Kosha Dills.
Oh, really?
Oh, the guy who played with Matisyahu.
Yeah.
And then I did the beatboxing.
You did the
thing
beatboxing with him. He showed up at this vigil they had, which seems crazy, but there are people that I guess are upset. They had a vigil Friday night in Washington Square, or Friday, for the slain Iranian leader Ayatollah Khamenei.
Okay.
And Kosha Dills, the Jewish rapper, went up and ripped his photo down, and they attacked him. A bunch of people just like jumped him for ripping the Ayatollah's photo down. And he was arrested by police.
Was he streaming live on his own social media?
I don't know if he was, but there was
He's
there
a
was
good
footage.
promoter, that guy.
He is definitely a big self-promoter and good at it. He was charged with disrupting a public gathering, but he needed 10 stitches. Like they jumped on him.
I need to see this video.
I gotta tell you, one of the most interesting things for me living in a big city for a while is no matter what's going on, like if you have millions and millions and millions of people in a city, you're going to have, because people are different, a wide variety of opinions. So you're going to have some people who are way off to the left, and some people who are way off to the right. You'll have some people who like sports and some people who hate sports. You'll have some people who are Jews and some people who hate Jews. You'll have some people for every issue you can think of. And I used to walk down Michigan every day. I didn't have a car in Chicago, so I walked the mile and a half or so from my house in the South Loop to the Tribune Tower where I worked. And
you have to walk through Lincoln Park.
Well, Grant Park. Grant Park, like in the dead center of Chicago where the Bean is and stuff.
I thought I remember hearing one of your old podcasts where like, I'm going through Lincoln Park.
Lincoln Park the Lincoln Park Zoo is awesome. It's a free zoo.
Nice.
I love that place. Anyways, so I would, different Lincoln Park, but close. I would walk through Grant Park, like down the sidewalk, because that was my route to work. And sometimes I look up and I go, oh man, something's happening again. And there was a Hilton, it's still a Hilton there, right across from Grant Park in Chicago, in the middle of where a lot of tourists stay and stuff. And there would constantly be protests going on out there. And there was a road in between. So you'd have one side of the protesters always on this side and one side of the protesters on the other side. And the sidewalk went right across both of them. So I'd be walking down the sidewalk and all of a sudden I'd be on one side of the protest and I'd see all the people. I'd have no idea what they were upset about or protesting about. Ooh, and then I'd go on across the road and on the other side of the protest. And now I'm with the other protesters and they're screaming back and forth. They're screaming. And oftentimes I wouldn't even know what the hell was going on until I got to work and kind of looked it up more. And one time there was so many people on both sides of this protest area in Grant Park. And they're screaming at each other. There's a road in the middle and they're screaming across this road at each other. And eventually I figured out that the president of China was in the Hilton Hotel right there. And it was pro-Chinese people because it's a big city. You're going to have a bunch of people who are Chinese and are pro the Chinese government. And I think it was Hu Jintao at that point in time that was in town. And then across the road was all like the Free Tibet and all these other different groups that are anti the Chinese Communist Party. And they were screaming, spittle coming out of their mouth, yelling at each other. As far as I know, nobody fought anybody, nobody shot anybody, nobody bombed anybody. It is the reality that when you have a large population of people, unless they are forced to, at the barrel of a gun, agree on things, they're just going to have wildly different opinions on a lot of stuff. And it's not because half of them are dumb and half of them are smart enough to agree with you. It's because people have different upbringings, they have different morals, they have different lenses through which they view the world, and there is no way, no how that you're going to bring them all together and we're going to be all kumbaya. So we have to come to terms with the ideas that we disagree with each other. Now, I don't know in some of these cases, like kosher dills, bro, there's a small group of people out there celebrating the life of Khomeini, who I think was a brutal Islamo-fascist, murderous dictator who killed tens of thousands of people, apparently in the last couple of years alone, who were going to these protests against him. He's a bad dude, and I would never support him. But, like, why go there and get mixed up in that?
You want to talk to him?
Why? Oh, I don't know. Right. I mean, it might be interesting. Interesting to see what he says. I guess he lives in New York. He must just live there.
Like, hey, do you remember? Here's the YouTube video. We would love to talk to you. It has nothing to do with your rapping skills.
All I remember, and you guys might have a different memory of this, all I remember of the Kosha Dills guy that Sealand's talking about, who opened up for Modest Yahoo, when Sabrina like beatboxed with Modest Yahoo on stage and stuff, I remember him constantly being in the promotion gear. Like, I think he was like filming a lot of videos. He was like constantly posting stuff.
He's a hustler. Like he hustles,
yeah. He was trying to build his career, I guess, and do his thing. But I don't know. I don't know what he was doing there. All right. Couple of things. Quick update here. That woman suspected of firing shots toward Rihanna's home in Los Angeles on Sunday has been hit with attempted murder charges. That's what they're going with there.
Damn.
I still don't think they know why, but I don't know. Like, I'm wondering, is this crazy person like mentally ill stalker, or is this person like somebody who knew Rihanna and was mad about something, or
they hit her with that charge, so that leads me to believe they're aware of motive of some sort, right?
Must be. A woman charged with attempted murder after shots fired at Rihanna's home. Sabrina had said in the next episode, I think this was a semi-automatic rifle that the person fired a whole bunch of shots from, and Rihanna was at the house at the time. She was there when this happened. She's been arrested and charged with attempted murder. Los Angeles Police Department told CNN the shooting incident happened at 1:20. It's right in the middle of the day, right after we sprang forward on Sunday. Between 5 and 7 shots were fired, hitting the outside gate to the house, but not the house itself.
He meant to do it at 12:20, but it just,
There were no injuries, although there were people in the house at the time of the incident. The woman in her 30s was located and taken into custody without further incident. Her name is Ivana Ortiz. Charged with attempted murder, being held on $10.2 million in bail.
Okay. So there's pieces that are missing here, right?
Yeah, they don't say what the motivation would be.
Ivana what?
So Ivana Lisette Ortiz. Livana Ortiz. Ivanna Ortiz is her name. So very, very strange story, but she's been charged with attempted murder, which, yeah, I mean, come on, that makes sense. I can get behind that. We'll see what you think about all of this. We got more to get to. We're running a little behind again, as you can imagine. When we come back, I do want to tell you this story. We'll get into the teacher prank thing in jury duty too. But beyond that, and I'll pay off the Live Nation Ticketmaster thing, I want to tell you about somebody who's on death row. And it's a crazy story. And I want to see what everybody thinks about this. So we'll talk about that. It's coming up next on the News Junkie.
AI edits itself. We double down. Real Radio 104.1. Guaranteed human.
This is Katina Mobley. This is what's true.
Hello? Welcome behind the scenes. Chat, I have a question for you. Oh, by the way, Austin, I know this was you. I said on School Mike last week, I'm like, oh, I love Red Hots. Used to go to New York, and we would get Red Hots before we went over to Plattsburgh. And Amazon delivery, Hannah's Red Hot sausages. It's like a 50 count box, dude. Your prank is like a 50 count heavy box of, these are not the Red Hots I'm talking about. The Red Hots I'm talking about are like, kind of like chili dogs is the best way I could compare it. I know that was you, Austin. Austin! I know that was you. Okay. Chad, here's the story we're going to talk about when we come back. Here's the story we're going to talk about when we come back. There is a man on death row right now. He is on death row in Alabama. If you've listened to the show at all, you probably know my thoughts on the death penalty, but that's neither here nor there. This man is set to be executed by the state of Alabama. However, he did not kill anyone. Think about that for a second. The state of Alabama is about to take this man's life, use the power of the state to execute this man, and he did not kill anybody else. He was part of a robbery with a group of other guys back in 90 seconds. And the other guys that were with him were in this room and they were committing this robbery, and then he runs out and he gets into the getaway car, and in the getaway car, as he's waiting, he hears a shot fire off, and they killed someone in the commission of this robbery, but he says he had no idea they were going to kill anybody. He was not on board with killing anybody. He was not in the building when the killing occurred. He only was a party to the crime, and then the driver in the vehicle after they left. And they're going to execute that guy. Does that seem fair? Yes or no, chat? Does that seem fair? He did not kill anyone. He's on death row in Alabama and about to be put to death. Does that seem fair? Yes or no? What do you think? We'll talk about this in jury duty. Kind of crazy.
Text and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Save an additional 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say the words micro. That's pound 250 micro.
This is Ross Chastain, NASCAR driver and your Fresh from Florida farmer, letting you know that Florida strawberries are picked at peak freshness to ensure that there's sunshine in every bite. Fresh from Florida, the homegrown brand of Florida farmers.
If you want to buy or sell your home quickly, call Nick Lee. Download a free home buyer's guide at thenickleegroup.com.
Riding the daily roller coaster of viral news from the front row. It's
Easy story for you in jury duty. Getting some thoughts already from chat on this one. It's really interesting. I want to see what's going on in your head when you hear this story. I want to hear a variety of opinions on this, and we shall in just a moment. Join us on the show with dispatches, emails, and the rest. Send those over on the website, thenewsjunkie.com. All right, let's get into it. Here we go. Let's do jury duty.
Court is now in session, so put your phone down and pay attention before we call the bailiff over to whip your ass. You're now on jury duty with the News Junkie.
Jury duty brought to you by the one, the only Mo DeWitt of the DeWitt Law Firm. Injured on the go? Just call Mo. 800-CALL-MO, 800-CALL-MO, and go to justcallmo.com. After an accident, this is where you go. You know him. You heard him on the show. And even if you're feeling a little bit of pain, you think, I'm fine, I'm strong. Go against the insurance companies because they are greedy. They take your money, and you should protect yourself, your family, and your future. How? 800-CALL-MO, 800-CALL-MO, or justcallmo.com. Here's a hell of a story for you. There's a man who is about to be executed by the state of Alabama. This guy's name is Charles Burton. They call him Sonny Burton. Sonny Burton is 75 years old. And he is indeed on death row, about to be killed in the state of Alabama. They're going to put this guy to death, and it doesn't look like there's any turning this around. But here's the twist on this case. Let me bring this up here. Alabama, this is one of the many headlines about this, and it's accurate. It's a true headline. Alabama set to execute a man who didn't kill anyone.
Okay.
What?
Right? So think about this for a second.
Serial rapist?
Nope. No. The governor, unless the governor, KIV, intervenes, Sonny Burton, 75 years old, will be executed on Thursday of this week. All right? And this guy was sentenced to death, and he never killed anybody. Now, I'll tell you the story of what he did. I'm not trying to keep anything away from you, but I want you to ask yourself like a fundamental question at the core of you. If you've listened to this show at all, you know my take on the death penalty. I think the state getting involved in the business of killing people poses an eternal problem that you can never, ever, ever, ever get around. And that is if the state takes away the life of an individual and they get it wrong even once, even one time, that is too many. And there's nobody out there that can make an argument to me that says there's not been one single innocent person executed in the history of the United States of America. For me, even once is too many. The state shouldn't be involved in this. Put these people behind bars for the rest of their lives, make them serve a punishment for their crime, et cetera, et cetera. But this is crazy for a different reason because this guy, he never killed anybody. He didn't. On Thursday, Alabama's set to execute him. Here's what he says. I shouldn't die for something I haven't done, Burton told NBC News in an interview today from the prison that is holding him. He spent more than 30 years on death row there. Burton's death sentence was possible because of a legal doctrine known as felony murder, which allows prosecutors to treat anybody involved in certain felonies, such as robbery or burglary, equally responsible for a killing that occurs during the crime, even if they did not commit the act themselves. Felony murder allows for everybody involved in the underlying offense to be treated by the legal system as if they committed an intentional murder, says the director of research at the Sentencing Project. I'll simplify that. If you are involved in a robbery, Ocean's 11 style with 10 of your friends, and it was never the plan or agenda to kill anybody, but somebody dies in the commission of this robbery that you were taking part in, if you didn't kill them, if you didn't pull the trigger, if you didn't put the bullets in the gun, if you didn't say to kill them, if you had nothing to do with it, but you were just part of the robbery itself, you're responsible for all of the other things that happened during the robbery. Therefore, you're responsible for the murder of somebody who was murdered during that robbery, and you can be sentenced to death.
So all the other 5 guys are on death row too?
Well,
Sorry, Celine.
Let me briefly get into what happened here in the moment itself in 1991. Sonny Burton, was one of 6 men involved in the robbery of an AutoZone store in Talladega.
Get in the zone.
That ended with the murder of a customer named Doug Battle. Burton admits he entered the store and he had a gun. He said he stole cash from a safe in the back room, but then he fled outside to wait by a getaway car. Inside the store, one of his accomplices, Derek DeBruce, shot Battle 34 in the back, killing him. The state acknowledged this fact in its response to Burton's application for a stay of execution from the Supreme Court. DeBruce hit Battle, knocking him to the floor, and then fatally shot him in the back. Burton had already left the store when the shooting occurred. I didn't know a murder was going to happen, he said. I would have stopped that. Now, would he have not? We'll never know. We will never know if he truly would have stepped up and said, nope, this is too far. But we know that he wasn't even in the building when the guy got killed. And he says,
crazy.
He goes, I was not aware of this. I was not told that there was a possibility that anybody could be killed. I thought I was part of a robbery. That's what I was in on. And if you want to sentence me for robbery, fine, but I didn't kill anybody.
It gets crazier. The guy that did pull the trigger was sentenced to death, and then a federal court vacated that death sentence after finding he had inadequate counsel. He was resentenced to life imprisonment, and he died in prison.
Yeah, the murderer
took away his death penalty.
Yeah, the person who, according to the court of law and the justice system of the United States of America, the person who did take another person's life away, who killed them, is not going to face death. But the person who was just along with him when he made the decision to do that, who was outside the building after taking some of the money in the robbery, is going to be killed on Thursday. So this is a fairly unusual circumstance here.
Unusual, but someone has to jump in, right? I mean, what am I missing here? The guy should not be put to death. Yes or no?
Well, the problem is, Sabrina, felony murder, which is what they mentioned earlier, you can get the death sentence for it. You can get the death sentence. And if you get the death sentence for a felony murder charge, then you're killed just like anybody else. I don't know what the numbers are. Maybe we can dig this up using AI or something. I don't know what the numbers of people who have been executed but did not commit a murder themselves are, but this must be pretty rare, I would hope and think. But yeah, the guy who pulled the trigger, who killed somebody, will not be killed by the state, but this guy, Sonny, will. For years, the 2 men lived alongside each other on death row. He got me with my life for something stupid that he did, Burton said, but I forgave him. When DeBruce's sentence was overturned, he moved to another prison, leaving Burton behind on death row. DeBruce died in custody in 2020. Burton's sentence remained unchanged, even though he's amassed unlikely support. The victim's daughter, here you go, here's another twist in this. The victim's daughter, Tori Battle, who was 9 years old when her father was murdered, recently published an op-ed in the Montgomery Advertiser, urging the Alabama governor, Kay Ivey, to spare Burton's life. Mr. Burton remains on death row, not because moral clarity demands it, but because procedural rules have blocked courts from correcting past mistakes, she wrote. When a man's life turns on technical barriers rather than the truth, that is not justice, but a failure of the system that does nothing to honor my father's memory. So the family of the victim says, we don't want to see him killed. We think this is an injustice. Everybody in the system knows that this guy didn't pull the trigger and kill anybody else. He was just a part of the group that was robbing this place. And I ask of you, is that morally right to kill somebody who didn't take another life themselves, even if you are absolutely for the death penalty? I think most people must run into this and at least question it, because it seems so wrong to me.
So, running a little bit late, but I did send you the link, and at least what could be found in that short moment, it has identified the Death Penalty Information Center. At least 22 people have been executed for felony murder despite not personally committing the killing themselves.
Damn.
And
22
then,
people.
yeah.
That's out of 1,630, according to this, that have been carried out since the 70s. So 1,630 people who have been killed by the death penalty, but 22 of them they didn't pull the trigger.
But I wonder if how many of those, and it's hard to really dive into that right now, but I wonder how many of those were committing a robbery versus, a more violent crime.
This says accomplice in the murder of an undercover agent, stood guard while accomplices killed 6 people, participated in a robbery, accomplice committed the murders after he left. That's William Andrews?
Oh,
yeah, that's William. That's William Andrews. Robert Thompson, involved in a robbery where the accomplice shot the victim. And then Charles Burton, he's the one we're talking about, sentenced for a 1991 robbery where an accomplice fired the fatal shot while he was outside the store. That seems wrong to me. It seems like they're all, like, if I was the governor, I would say, what matters to me? The law. Okay, that matters. What matters more than that is what's guiding me morally and what is fair and right and just in this situation. That means way more to me than the law does. I don't really care about the law in comparison to that. And then third, what do the victim's family, what do they think about this? And if the daughter of the victim is saying she doesn't want this guy put to death, why can't we just commute this to a life sentence? Like, this seems like an easy solution to me rather than killing a guy just because. And that's sort of where we are. And so you ask, like, why didn't the Supreme Court or anybody do this? Well, because that's the law is that felony murder in the state of Alabama can come with the death penalty. And when you're challenging it, it's like, it's all under the law that they have, so there's nothing that you can find legally wrong. It's not legally wrong. It's morally wrong, in my estimation. But I want to see what you think. Let us know. Send us a dispatch over at thenewsjunkie.com. Quick break. Back with the Live Nation situation and what happened with that teacher prank gone wrong. That is an interesting story as well, and it's coming up next on the News Junkie.
Make Real Radio 104.1 #1 on your presets on our all-new iHeartRadio app and get cool stuff at Real Radio events. Get the app for free in your app store.
Looks like that crash has been cleared out of the road on I-4 eastbound before US 27. Traffic's getting by a little bit better now, although you're still going to run into...
Hello? Power hour is on. Arnott says, what if the crime wouldn't have happened without this guy? It's not an easy situation. Well, you can't really peel that apart, can you? You can't really peel that apart. But if you go back to a lot of the guiding ideology of why people think the death penalty is okay, maybe I'm wrong, but I think it usually lands on one thing: an eye for an eye, right? An eye for an eye. Somebody takes my eye, I take their eye, etc., etc. And because I can't take their eye, I want the state to take their eye, basically. But this isn't an eye for an eye. I mean, somebody took this person's life. That person getting the death penalty would add up if that's something that, like, guides you as a principle in life. But it's not an eye for your friend taking an eye. That doesn't add up to me. Hey YouTube, hey Twitch. Oklahoma passed a law if a person rapes a child, they can get the death penalty. Couple of minutes and we're back live. Merch drop available right now. Limited merch drop at thenewsjunkie.com. Get it, rep some merch. Play Black Whopper available right now with a magnet and sticker at thenewsjunkie.com. Drew says, so Sean, you want him held accountable for the murder but not face the death penalty. I want him held accountable for his crimes. And if you want to say that he was party to something where a murder took place, that's fine. I think that makes sense. I don't want him released. I don't want him freed. I think life in prison is a punishment that fits the crime maybe in some ways, but much more so than taking this person's life who didn't take somebody else's. Can't find the secret show code? Maya, go to thenewsjunkie.com and look in featured. Look in that featured section on thenewsjunkie.com on the homepage. Click that and you'll see where it says, in featured it says merch promo code. Hit that. 20%. That's the biggest savings for a while for Secret Show subscribers. 20%. Life fits. Like I hope my Black Whopper shirt does, I'm assuming. I'm assuming that's what you meant there. I hope so too. Thank you for your service. Thank you for grabbing the merch. The Power Hour is on. I hope your Black Whopper fits too. True. Watson, do you think there are any cases where somebody should get the death penalty that didn't take another person's life? No, I mean, I just don't think the state should be involved in taking a life. I think that life in prison is, in some cases, is the worst punishment you could get, just to live out your days. And if you want to have extreme versions of life in prison where you make it even more difficult and solitary and make the experience worse, sure. But I can't stand for a system where there's even the opportunity for an innocent person who never did anything but just fell through the cracks in the judicial system to be killed by the state. That is unacceptable in my worldview. It's an unacceptable injustice. So I don't support the death penalty for that reason. General population will take care of the monsters. No need to give them luxury solo accommodations just to murder them a decade later. Sean has tiny hands, so the Black Whopper looks bigger. Watch your mouth, sir. 2 minutes. We're sprung forward, everybody. I hope we're okay. Good to hear, Maya. I'm afraid my Black Whopper is going to be too big. Just take the dive. You're going to be fine, I assure you. I still haven't heard from anybody who saw the Frankenstein movie. The Bride. Or Hopper. Oh no, Nicole. What are we at? What's the market at? Oh boy. Here we go. Dow down 440. 47,062. Not a great day for the 401k. Not great. All right, here we go.
The promo code Beck. Visit lifelock.com. Terms do apply.
Hear that? That's Mike. He took ZzzQuil Pure Z's, so now he's sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. ZzzQuil Pure Z's are fast-acting melatonin gummies with a complementary botanical blend to help Mike get the sleep he needs to wake up refreshed and ready to conquer Monday.
Let's do this Monday.
ZzzQuil Pure Z's, just for sleep. Really great sleep. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
Do you have AC needs? Turn to the experts at Carrier. Go to millsair.com.
Coming to you live from the JustCallMo.com studios. Injured on the go? Just call Mo. Need help after an accident? Visit JustCallMo.com or dial 1-800-CALL-MO. This is WTKS-FM HD1 Cocoa Beach, Orlando, an iHeart radio station. Guaranteed human.
I do. I got it. I got it under control. Yeah, I mean this is just a full on crash out of the drop slinger.
I can't believe you did that. All right, well, you're not getting certified.
No one's really sure what all C-Lane's buttons actually do. This is the News Junkie.
To go solely to the drop slinger audio software.
I think we won't sign off on that now.
It's superior, and the drop slinger software is the future of iHeartMedia. Don't pay attention to this moment right now because there was a bit of a crash-a-rooney for drop slinger, but that's okay. It happens from time to time.
Looks like it still hasn't come back.
I don't know. Maybe I disturbed it. I don't know what I did to it, but it doesn't like me at the moment.
Did you look at it in the eyes?
I tried to. It says not secure, C-Lane. Is that a problem?
It shouldn't be.
Yeah. All right.
It's locally run.
What if I go over? I'll reload it again from the jump just to give this one last chance here. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, nope. Still broken.
Unceremoniously sent out off to pasture.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be back. It'll be back and better than ever, I'm sure. All right. Tips at thenewsjunkie.com. A lot of emails coming in. Here is Mariano sending an email about gas prices in California. Says, you think you got it bad? This is the cheapest I can find around here. It's a Shell station with gas for $5.29 for regular. That's pretty pricey. That's more than we're paying here. About
$5.39 if you use a card.
We've seen $5 before, right?
We've seen $5 before for sure. Yeah.
Here?
Yeah.
Like, I remember, but it was brief.
When it peaked. When we've had some peaks and valleys before, some of the peaks have been, I think, over $5 a gallon. That's not where we're at now. California has a lot of fees and taxes and all kinds of other stuff that they pile onto their gas prices.
It would have cost me $113 to fill up based on how much I got over the weekend.
Or walking.
Yeah, that's a lot of cash right there, but we'll see what you think. We got some more emails coming in. This is happy Monday through Sunday, folks. Sean, what are your thoughts on Congress voting 357 to 65 to keep sexual harassment in Congress not public knowledge? I think it's a load of crap. This is a thing everybody agreed on. Anyways, have a great day. And he said, I fell off the email, which is a tactic to get away from your dispatches where you just fall off of it. He's doing that on the email side. What are your thoughts on Congress voting 357 to 65 to keep sexual harassment in Congress not public knowledge? I don't know the ins and outs of that particular bill. I did see the story, and I did see that there was a lot of people who didn't vote for it. And I can understand some concerns because here's the fact of the matter. If you're a major figure, especially like a major political figure, the chances for you to get some sort of strays with false accusations from people you maybe never met in your life, they are real. Like you could get an allegation from somebody who just steps up and says, hey, this is what this person did to me. And you go, oh my God, I have no idea who this is. And I never met them in my entire life. And we've seen some of that coming out in the Epstein files, in my opinion, where some of the allegations were by crazies, right? The crazies come forward and they go, here's what happened on this plane and this happened. But when you check out the information, none of it adds up. And it's clear that the person is just sort of mentally ill or whatever and is making stuff up. But I wish that I could say, and maybe I hope this is the case still, that we're smart enough as an American public that we can understand that sometimes the crazies come out and sometimes the allegations aren't true. But it's best to be open about things. And when there are claims, like if somebody's has sexual harassment claims against them, I think we'd be better off if that was public knowledge. I mean, I would have voted to make any kind of claims like that public because I personally wouldn't worry about it. And I personally think that our elected officials should be held to a really high standard. And I start to wonder if all these people are voting against it, what the hell do they know? What kind of sexual harassment allegations are floating around Congress right now? Seems a little concerning to me, but I'm willing to hear a counter argument on that. So I'm sure some people were like, no, this actually isn't good. We'll see. Maybe you have another thought. Tips at thenewsjunkie.com, TIPS, tips at thenewsjunkie.com. That's what I said. You heard me.
Lucky.
Here is, let's see. Mark says, good afternoon, Sean, Sabrina, and Sealand. I just placed my order for the Black Whopper merch drop in black.
Yeah.
Thank you for releasing this merchandise design. It'll be my very first News Junkie merch purchase, and I'm looking forward to wearing this shirt proudly. By the way, I was one of the people who sent the thumbs up pic requesting you guys play that segment. And Sabrina, yes, the pic was taken before hearing the segment. After hearing it and how offensive it was, I wish I had 2 more hands so I could give it 4 thumbs up.
Yeah!
Big Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Ashley says, on the contrary, I've been a listener for about 6 years now, Ashley says. I think I may have missed the Black Whopper show. What is that about? Since it's now merch, can we have the show posted on YouTube or secret shows?
No.
If it's that memorable, I would love to see or hear it. I will still be buying the shirt. Thank you for all your hard work and for being the 3 best friends I never knew had. Love you guys. Ash Bomb. As I said, we did play this in best of like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think.
Yes, because it was a meeting involving anyone that would have been mad that we played it.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden people were like, hey, if you're going to be out, what were we out for, an hour? Or
yeah, we were out for an hour that day.
Yeah. So we ended up.
That was the meeting that Sabrina and I thought was occurring in person.
Yes.
And so
I
we
brought
showed
a blazer. I was wearing a blazer.
We showed up to the meeting room and it was empty. And we were like, oh, okay.
Got it.
We're going to go back to our seats and do this online.
And I'm wearing mascara.
We just played that in the best of. It'll come back up again. It'll pop up every once in a while. It is the free bird of the show. So play Black Whopper. Now you know why the shirt is there. Here's more on that House effort. Let's see what they say on this NBC News story. House kills effort to release all congressional sexual misconduct and harassment reports. All right, they forced a vote on this, and now they voted against it. The House of Representatives on Wednesday last week voted to scuttle an effort by Republican Nancy Mace.
Ooh, scuttle. Good
Wasn't
word.
Nancy Mace one of the ones that was in the back and forth over the Epstein stuff?
She was. Yeah, I mean, she probably was in some Epstein stuff, but she was also yelling at Governor Tim Walz, I believe.
Oh, that's what she was.
Asking him, "Hey, how much did you spend on autism?" And saying, "I thought you came prepared for this meeting," and all that stuff.
That's right.
Yes,
and she was pointing out the percentage of increase from 1 million to. What was it? 322 million that they spent on autism last 2 years ago.
Massive jump, and she was grilling Tim Walz on that. So she said, did this to shed more light on misconduct allegations against members of Congress. Mace, a conservative Republican who's running to be the governor of South Carolina, forced a vote on her resolution directing the Ethics Committee to make public all reports on allegations of congressional lawmakers and aides engaging in sexual misconduct or harassment. But it was voted down 357 to 65. The House voted to refer the Mace resolution to committee, which was just like a move to kill it. And they said the Ethics Committee had encouraged members to vote to refer the resolution. Republican and Democratic leaders of the committee argued it could chill victim cooperation. Okay, I see here. It could chill victim cooperation and witness participation in ongoing and future investigations. The idea here was that if you release all of these allegations, then the people who come forward with the allegations will know that they'll eventually be public, and they may not want to put that out there.
Okay.
Although that's an interesting argument. I guess you could also say that it could be redacted, like the person's name could be redacted, but they said they would make it harder for the committee to continue to investigate and eliminate sexual misconduct in the House. Blah blah blah. So,
would you would there be an argument to say that victims would not make allegations under the current rule because they wouldn't get out there, because they would want their allegation to be made public?
I don't know. I don't know how people would take that.
Yeah. If you make an allegation and they deem it for whatever reason, not true, or there's not enough evidence to back it up, your name's out there regardless.
Yeah,
the backlash from that could be horrific.
And we know how bad and partisan everything is. So, like, let's say you are working for one of the top politicians in Congress, and you accuse them of sexual harassment. Their supporters are probably going to torch you if they could figure out who you are. And it's not going to be a pleasant experience. And I do give some weight to the argument that might deter people from coming forward if it's not like a private process of doing all of this. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have like a firm opinion on that, believe it or not. It seems like that is a fair argument to say that would discourage people, but it feels like you could combat that by saying, yeah, you just censor all of the information.
It was a fair argument that the current way would discourage people.
Yeah. A fair argument is that DropSlinger is still not loading over here. That's a fair argument.
That is unfortunate because, my DropSlinger is going great right here.
Really?
You dolphin!
Damn it, man.
Look at that.
What? Let me try something. What if it's just me? If it's just me and it's not DropSlinger, like if I refresh right now and DropSlinger audio software loads perfectly, then it was me. No, it's not. No, it still doesn't work. Garbage. Absolute dumpster fire.
Wow. I should just give up. I should just
no.
commit career.
I need it.
Sewer.
Here. No. Here we go. Let's work in a couple of dispatches while we have a chance. Here's Dispatch Dan talking about TSA. We got the spring break kicking off. A lot of people flying all over the place. And TSA lines are apparently crazy at some of these airports.
Hey, guys, as an airport employee, I can tell you firsthand that TSA PreCheck absolutely is open. TSA's biggest problem is staffing. You got all these employees that haven't been getting paid for a while. They're not going to show up to work.
True.
Last night, for absolutely no reason, one of our checkpoints went down to 2 lanes at a time when there was a bunch of departures. So, yeah, you plan on, if you're traveling anytime soon, get to the airport with enough time. And if you don't get there with enough time, don't be the asshole at the gate upset because you missed your flight. I'm sorry, you paid $38.50 for your ticket. Don't expect customer service. You're not getting on. Okay, that's it. I'm done.
There he goes. Thank you, Dispatch.
$38.50.
I will tell you, I don't blame employees if they say, well, you might not get paid for this. I don't blame the employees going, you're not going to pay me. What the hell am I doing coming to work?
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to get paid. I don't think that's too much to ask. One more for now. Here's Sharkbait with the Dispatch here as we roll on in the Power Hour.
Hey there, junkies. What's going on? So I found out some information at work that the upper managers have been or are going to use AI to generate evaluations. Same thing as normal. Type in a few keywords and it brings up all these paragraphs and these little bullet points and stuff.
Really?
And I don't know. To me, that made me feel a little uncomfortable. I feel like evaluations are really meant to have that personal one-to-one experience. If I wanted to know how I was doing online, I would look it up online. I would like to know feedback, like legit feedback. I don't know. It's a little weird to me. Just want to see what your thoughts are. Okay, bye.
Yeah, I'm fully against that. Any sort of employee reviews or evaluations being done with AI is unacceptable. That to me is, you're outsourcing the most important thing that needs to be as human as possible, which is the hiring and firing in this case of employees. So no, I'm not okay with that at all.
I mean, I think it's going to depend on what the AI's outcome is. What people, if somebody goes, hey, my boss just told me that all of our evaluations are coming through from AI, and you're like, that sounds terrible. And then, beep boop, the AI goes, you get a raise. You're like, this is the greatest AI there is.
Don't mind if I do.
I'll take it. But if the AI, says opposite, says you haven't been pulling your weight based on these metrics and based on, me going through your emails and all this, then they go, oh, well, this is stupid. It's inefficient. It's factually wrong. I mean, you're going to hear the argument about why this is the worst possible scenario for a company.
I got to tell you, and I'm wondering now more than ever, after a conversation Celia and I had right before the show, what does our AI know? We got an iHeart AI, and they were asking, hey, can you change your email signatures? Which, I mean, I don't even know. I don't think I have an email signature, but they're saying, can you change your email signatures? We need to put another message in there. And here's like some corporate messaging that we're adding to the email signatures for every employee. It's like, okay, all right, again. And then Sealand was going to do it, but we have an AI for all of our company.
It's like it's attached to the software that does the email. So it's in Microsoft Outlook. It's Microsoft's Copilot AI.
It's like Clippy 2.0. And Clippy's
so
hanging
much
out there.
smarter than Clippy. This makes Clippy seem like a damn calculator.
And Sealand said, hey, how do I change my signature in my email? And the AI for iHeart said, oh, this is a very good question, especially concerning recent emails about all employees changing their email signatures. And Sealand rightfully says, like, wait, hold on. Wait, hold on. What? Are you reading our emails? What's that?
It would seem that you might be.
Is reading our emails.
It seems like it. It seems like the AI is reading our company emails. I don't know if that's true or not, but
and then how long before the AI starts
tattletelling on us,
noting, which of us iHeart brethren are really fast at responding to emails, and which of us are a little on the slow side.
I couldn't help but notice Sabrina did read your email, but then put it back as unread and never went back to it.
Yeah, I don't want any of you. I don't want anybody in general being evaluated by AI. I mean, I definitely don't want them reading our emails. Not that I'm saying anything in the emails that I would be worried about or concerned about.
No, we do that in your Gmail.
I just don't want anything going on with AI judging whether somebody gets hired or fired. I think that seems...
That sounds like a great big
problem.
Yeah.
Brought to you by Drop
It does. Not over here. Hold on, let me play my Japan bit. No, I'm sorry. Can't do it. Oh, I'm back. Ay, Bobby.
No, you're not.
Don't. Crashed again.
Don't.
Hey, my soundboard from 2013 still working pretty good.
This is new. Drop Slinger still. That's why I got the backup here. But it's got a couple of problems around the edges. All right, when we come back, we will get into the Live Nation story finally. Are we all going to get some mailbox money?
Yeah.
Maybe. Let's see. Let's see what happens here. They've made a settlement in the Live Nation Ticketmaster antitrust case. And we have the story that we talked about a little bit earlier with the Georgia teacher who was killed after a prank gone wrong and how his wife has responded to all of this. Just absolutely crazy. And the details are coming up next on the News Junkie.
Real Radio is on Instagram at Real Radio 1041. Sponsored by the law offices of Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733. From the Clausman Law Traffic Center, car crash, call Clausman Law. ClausmanLaw.com.
Looks like the left lane's been reopened on I-4 eastbound near US 92. The right lane's still blocked, though, and traffic's still slowing down in that area. You're going to get caught up in some typical delays piling up on the major roadways. I-4 eastbound between Old Grade Road and US 27 still backed up. On the rest of the major roadways, you won't be running into too much trouble. See traffic troubles, call the Valvoline Instant Oil Change traffic tip line at 866-676-8477. From the Traffic Center, I'm James Birmingham.
This report is sponsored by Terminix.
Termite alert.
It is termite season in Florida, and swarms have been identified in your area. Termites can attack your home or business and cause costly damage. Don't live with the termite problem. Before you see termites this swarm season, Terminix it. Schedule a free inspection at Terminix.com.
Hello, my friend. Sabrina here. And last year was a pivotal moment in my laundry life. I had looked at my washer and dryer that I had had for 15 years and said, it's time for you to go out to pasture. But I knew when it came to getting a new laundry pair, I didn't want to guess. I definitely didn't want to waste time at a big box store. So what did I do? I went to Southeast Steel Appliance Warehouse, and that made all the difference. The team of experts at Southeast Steel asked the right questions, and they helped me find...
Rate my camera shot. There you go. Rate my blank. I didn't even get the rate my blank out today. It's a true failure on my part. I got to get better at that. I got to get better at it. No way around it. It's not rate my herpes. My dance moves. Have I been dancing? Those two guys in New York who threw the IEDs were charged with using a weapon of mass destruction. That's what they charged me with in the bedroom, you know what I mean? Ho! Ho! All right. I need a banger song to end on. Something that says, wow. Something that really grabs one's opinion. A genuine? Okay, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Something that grabs one's attention, I mean. Genuine. That's good. Okay, okay! Genuine. Damn, they ain't got nothing on Mr. Genuine. He's coming to the Edition Financial Arena. There's a good one. Okay. Stand by. Okay, some good emails coming in at the last minute here. We'll get to some of those. You know we're going to get muted on YouTube for copyright? Not today. Today, I'm going to get express permission from Genuine, and I'm going to send it directly through to you. 90 seconds. Minutes left in the show on a Monday. Big week here on the show. Make sure you don't miss a moment. And do get that merch drop. Got to tell you, I was wondering about today. It's been a little sideways, but I absolutely woke up and said, oh, damn. We were up for like an hour in the middle of the night with Lady freaking out, and then junkie cats jumping up in bed, and the animals are like, what the hell's going on with this time change? And then next thing you know, I finally get to sleep, and when I wake up, it's 9:30. I'm an hour behind. That's a big deal for me. That's a big deal. Here we go. Coming back.
At Lenovo.com/pro.
Lenovo. Your entire sports feed all in one place with iHeartRadio. Tournament coverage.
Launches a three. Got it.
NFL free agency.
Buffalo's got their quarterback, their running back. Now they've got their number one.
And the first pitch of the new baseball season.
At the wall! Oh, my goodness!
You're one tap away. Open the iHeart app and stream your local sports stations. Catch the latest news on Fox Sports Radio or dive into the world's biggest sports podcasts. Open the free app, search sports, and listen now.
Lose 20 pounds by this time next month at redmountainweightloss.com.
On a constant quest to stay calm, like that bear in the hammock. This is
Back up and running. Thank God. I never had any doubt in it. My faith was always solid.
Just walked back in the room and saw you hitting it, and I'll go, oh, gosh, please work. Please. Please work.
It's like stepping on a rake. You can't do it twice in a row. Otherwise, it's really a bad look. Really tough. We're going to get into some of your emails and all that in a moment, but let me pay off some of the stories I've teased and not worked in here. One is about this teacher, and this is such a crazy story. This teacher, they were trying to prank this guy, and they killed him. And the reaction to this has been unbelievable, especially what happened with his wife. So let me give you some of the basic details. Fox 5 was one of the many outlets that covered this. This happened in Gainesville, Georgia, and these teenagers drove to one of their teachers' homes. They had a bunch of toilet paper. Come on, we've all done something like this. You like toilet paper a house or pulling a prank on somebody. And they had a bunch of toilet paper with them as part of this prank. The teacher knew it was coming, and the teacher wanted to surprise the students. So students are coming in the middle of the night. They're going to toilet paper the teacher's house, and the teacher goes, I got an idea. I'm going to counter this by surprising them. But the ground outside, the New York Times says, was slick from rain, and the teacher, Jason Hughes, 40 years old, slipped and fell into the street as he headed toward the group, who by then had jumped in their vehicles and started to drive away. Among the group was Jaden Ryan Wallace, 18, who's accused of running over Mr. Hughes with his pickup truck. He and 4 others tried to drive away from Mr. Hughes' home, according to the sheriff's office.
They didn't notice that they hit a human?
I think they might have, but and therein lies the problem. Mr. Wallace faces a charge of homicide by vehicle in the first degree, a felony. He also faces charges of criminal trespass, reckless driving, and littering. Is it littering for leaving the body behind? Is that literally
No, I think
littering?
it's the toilet paper.
Oh, the toilet paper? Okay,
Yeah,
maybe.
But I love that they threw that charge on top of that.
Like, why not get him for the toilet paper prank, too? That's weird. So he's facing all those charges. In a statement, Mr. Hughes' wife, who's also a teacher, said her husband and the students involved loved one another. Mr. Holmes was not going to confront the students, but was excited and wanted to catch them in the act. She said they support getting all of the charges dropped for all involved. This is a terrible tragedy, and my family is determined to prevent a separate tragedy from occurring, ruining the lives of these students. This will be counter to Jason's lifelong dedication to investing in the lives of these children. So, to put it in a brief way, these kids were going to TP the teacher's house. The teacher got wind of it and was excited about it and wanted to surprise them, but it was a wet day and the roads were slippery. And the teacher slipped. And then when the teenagers were driving away, one of them accidentally ran over the teacher. And the teacher's wife goes, we want the charges dropped. So more here from Fox 5. Memorial with flowers.
Flowers piling up to remember 40-year-old Jason Hughes, a husband, father, teacher, coach, and mentor for students here in Hall County.
A freak accident.
Olivia Williams, a sophomore at North Hall High School, stopped by on Saturday night to show her support.
Whenever somebody would need help or something, he would always make great conversation. He always had the best smile on his face, and he just seemed like such a friendly guy.
Damn.
According to the Hall County Sheriff's Office, a group of 5 teens, including 18-year-old Jaden Ryan Wallace, went to the house to toilet paper a home, a common prank. Deputies say when the 40-year-old man, Jason Hughes, came out of the house, the teens ran into 2 different cars to get away. Deputies say Hughes, while walking toward the street, tripped and fell into the road. Then the Sheriff's Office says he was hit by Wallace's car. The Sheriff's Office says all the teens tried to help, but Hughes was taken to the hospital and died. His death sending shock through the North Hall High School community.
This can't be real. Like this, there's no way this happened. I just saw him this week, and I mean, I went to take a test and I borrowed a Chromebook from his room. There's no way this is happening.
Hughes' wife is Olivia's geometry teacher.
She's the sweetest lady ever, and they had just such a good connection, and you could just see it.
Hall County Schools released a statement saying in part, quote,
they said, our hearts are broken. Jason Hughes was a loving husband and devoted father, a passionate teacher, mentor, and coach who was loved and respected by his students and colleagues. The real thing here that's of most interest and important is how much weight do we put in the words of the survivors, of the victim's relatives, and in this case, his wife. And that's a big question. It's a good question. And you have to ask yourself, the victim's wife here says he was excited. He wasn't upset. He loved these kids. It was a freak accident. Taking this tragedy and making it into something bigger will create yet another tragedy. And he wouldn't want that. Not everybody agrees. On Twitch, accidental murder is still murder. That's true by the letter of the law.
And littering.
That's probably true by the letter of the law. But if they go against the wishes of the family, it's going to make the case a little,
it says
awkward.
A lot of the wife who just lost her husband in a very tragic way to still say that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it has some merit to it.
Yeah,
especially considering that kid will has the risk of, not risk, but likely that he'll go to jail for the rest of his life.
He could, yeah.
Pushes through.
Well, I want to know, this kid accidentally rolled over his teacher during this little prank / active rolling, vandalism, call it what you want. It's not really vandalism because it doesn't destroy anything. But if this had happened in Alabama, would all these kids be charged with felony first-degree vehicular homicide?
Great question.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. And I want to know more about how he ran over the teacher. Did he not, I'm imagining he didn't see what was going on, and then his car smashed into him. But also they said that some of the students stayed and tried to get him help.
Right, so you knew you hit the teacher.
Yeah, that's the thing that's a little confusing to me about running into him. The team stopped and attempted to help Hughes after he was hit. Deputies arrived at the scene at 11:40, and Hughes was taken to the hospital. He died at the hospital. Didn't they say he fled, though? I thought that...
No, well, it's weird because it says, officials said all of the teens who stayed to help the teacher were arrested at the scene. But does that mean all the teens stayed to help and were arrested, or only the teens who stayed to help were arrested? It's a little vague, I think.
Yeah, all 5 teens were charged with criminal trespassing and littering. Then Wallace was charged with reckless driving, and I guess that got kicked up because the story that I saw said that he was charged with something more than that.
First-degree vehicular homicide and reckless driving.
First degree kind of indicates you knew what you were doing?
I guess, yeah.
Wrong?
They said the school district had cautioned students against pranks before the teacher's death. The school district posted this on Facebook, Hall County School District. Parents and students, as we approach the eagerly awaited spring prom season, we wanted to take a moment to address an important matter regarding the conduct of our junior and senior students. While we realize prom is a time for celebration and creating lasting memories, blah, 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 they talk about pranks, not doing the pranks. There are serious consequences that can arise from engaging in destructive behavior. Damaging property can lead to criminal charges, not to mention the potential repercussions of your participation on this.
Well, sent that not
That's
knowing
brutal.
they would run over a teacher.
Yeah. But they had like a warning about those to begin with, those particular acts. It's a tough one. Let us know what you think on the way out here today. Very interesting case for sure. Another one here on the show. What we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break. We'll get back. I'll tell you the Live Nation news. I'll put that in the stories that didn't make the cut. We'll also do Today I Learned and everything else to wrap it up for a Monday. That's coming up next on the News Junkie.
Real Radio is the Jim Colbert Show.
I mean, Ferrari was always my first love because of Tom Selleck. My next door neighbor in Green Bay had that Ferrari.
The
And
three-way
let me
GTS?
lay on it and take a photo.
Really?
Oh, boy.
Where's that?
How
And
old were you?
I was like 14.
Okay.
The Jim Colbert Show. Weekdays at 3 on Real Radio 104.1.
This weather report is brought to you by Mills Air.
Temps are staying above average as we kick off our work week. Hi there, I'm Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist TJ Springer. Still watching that sea breeze collision, which could bring us a couple of showers through the early evening. Most of us won't see any rain at all, although we badly need it. Tonight, with that lighter wind, thanks to this ridge of high pressure in control, could see some of that patchy fog developing. So be careful early on Tuesday. We'll have temperatures falling back into the middle to upper 60s, but then they are off to the races for our Tuesday, climbing back up close to 90 degrees under a mixture of clouds and sunshine. Could also see a couple of showers in the afternoon with the help of the sea breeze. From the Fox 35 Storm Center, I'm meteorologist TJ Springer.
This report is sponsored by Terminix. Termite alert. It is termite season in Florida, and swarms have been identified in your area. Termites can attack your home or business and cause costly damage. Don't live with the termite problem. Before you see termites this swarm season, Terminix it. Schedule a free inspection at Terminix.com.
Folks, let me tell you about an amazing company, a company called Mills Air. Leon Mills started a company with a simple idea in mind: help people out and don't rip them off. That's it. And I know that shouldn't seem crazy, but it kind of is in the world of AC repair, because people know that you want your AC working and working fast, and they can overcharge you. But they won't do that at Mills Air. Their techs are incredible. They've fixed the exact problem you have time and time and time again. And they just want to create a customer for life so that, in the situations where your AC does fail, everything's going to be fine. You just reach out to Mills Air. So do that and reach out to Mills Air via the phone, 407-277-1159. That's 407-277-1159, or find them online at millsair.com.
Hi, Orlando. Gilbert here with Renewal by Anderson. Warm weather is returning to Central Florida, and if you're expecting higher energy bills, our Acclaim windows can make a real difference. They're engineered for this climate, cutting heat transfer with double pane glass, blocking UV rays, and keeping your home cooler throughout the year. And right now, during our 31-day spring savings event, when you buy 2 replacement windows or doors, you'll get the third 60% off. It's one of the easiest ways to upgrade comfort, protection, and energy efficiency in a single project. Homeowners tell us they notice the difference almost immediately. Quieter rooms, fewer drafts, and cooling systems that finally get to take a break. And with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 18 months, starting your project has never been easier. Offer ends March 31st. Restrictions apply. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free in-home consultation. License CGC 1527613. Renewal by Anderson, where comfort meets savings.
iHeartMedia presents the Fresh from Florida Groceries Giveaway. 50 lucky winners will each receive a $100 grocery voucher to indulge in Fresh from Florida goodness. Enter to win at iHeart.com/freshfromflorida.
When disasters like floods, fires, or storms strike a commercial property, operations can come to a standstill. If you're looking for a quick response to get your property restored with...
Hello, welcome back. Final segment has arrived. It is now time for you to rate the show. Rate the show. 10 out of 10 is a winner. It goes to the Hall of Fame. Bring it over. Whoosh. Right there. No notes. Perfect show. 1 out of 10 is Loserville. Put it in the corner. We never talk about it again. Rate the show out of 10, please. Rate the show. 9 out of 10, my ponies. Aw, 8.
10 out of 10 Sean dance moves. What are these dance moves you guys are talking about? I don't think there was any dancing going on today. 10 out of 50 Red Hots? True. What am I going to do with all these? Huh? You sent me these as a prank? What do I do now? I ain't eating this thing. Hannah's Red Hot Sausage? I'll take them. All right, I got them for you then. I'll gift them to you. What an exchange this will be. All right, hang on. Hello? We back, baby. 8 out of 10 because of Amy, 9 out of 10 because of the Satans. Mother of Satan. Thank you, everybody. You're all chatter of the day today. Everybody's chatter of the day. Here we go. 10 out of 10 Black Whopper shirts. God bless. Get your merch while you can. TheNewsJunkie.com.
Monday. Let's do this Monday. ZzzQuil Pure Z's. Just for sleep. Really great sleep.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
Every now and then you find a deal that actually feels like a win. With Straight Talk Wireless, you get more and pay less. Now that's a good deal. No contracts, no credit checks, no surprises, all on Verizon's 5G network. Find it in the same place you've always found straightforward prices, exclusively at Walmart and StraightTalk.com.
The game of magnets, taking over the world one terrible person at a time.
Merch drop right now. Get your merch while you can. Play Black Whopper. It's available over on the website. Shirts, tank tops, and you get a sticker and a magnet with each purchase. Get yours now at thenewsjunkie.com. All right, let's see what we have on the way out. Hang on, let me refresh this just to get the latest and greatest. Anonymous says to tips@thenewsjunkie.com, hey, junkies, AI has been reading our email for years, but silently in the background. They are right up front with it now. They're suggesting rewrites to my emails in Gmail as well as Outlook. I absolutely hate this, Anonymous says, but I don't think there's a way to remove it. I just think it's part of the program now. Thank you, Anonymous. What else did we have? There were some other things that I didn't get to. There was somebody who had talked about, good afternoon, junkies. Sean, I feel it's irresponsible to claim that the counter-protesters in New York City, those are the people who were gathered where the IED was thrown, were fighting words with violence. What the terrorists did at the Mayor's Manor was awful, and they should have the book thrown at them. And I'm not defending them, but the anti-Islam protesters did use violence, this person says. Here's the link, and it says FBI launches terrorism investigation after explosives lit outside Mamdani's home. Police also arrested Ian McGinnis, 21, for allegedly using pepper spray on counter-protesters. He and 3 others were charged with disorderly conduct and obstruction. Well, good. If somebody who was on the other side of this was getting physical or doing something that was illegal, then they should be charged. Anybody who is breaking the law should be charged with breaking the law. It's not a protest if you start breaking the law. I don't care who it is. My biggest concern was with the framing of some of this that sort of made it look like, the people who were throwing this event, this protest, were the reasons behind the IED, or that the mayor was the target. The mayor absolutely wasn't the target. But if those people were being violent or pepper spraying people when they didn't have the right to do that, then I absolutely am against that as well, unequivocally. Now, maybe I'm reading this wrong. If so, please explain it. Keep up the good work, guys. Thank you for the email. Appreciate it. If you didn't get yours in today, I do that at thenewsjunkie.com when you get a chance.
Somebody reached out and says, love the show. Been listening 10 years. Work for Amazon. Been with the company a year. Was approached 2 weeks ago. I got a write-up from AI.
No.
And now I'm on a 60-day probation period, all because of an AI write-up.
I don't like that at all.
Neither do I.
Not a fan of that,
Or
actually.
do we like it, AI that's already listening to us?
To everybody but the AI, hate it. To the AI in particular, I mean, come on, please be nice about things. Here we go. Are we? Yeah, we're out of time, actually. We are. We got to get the hell out of here. Let's do Today I Learned.
The following information may make you feel smarter, but will not actually increase your IQ. So don't get cocky. Now it's time for what we call Today I Learned.
By the way, Live Nation, the parent company of Ticketmaster, has successfully avoided a breakup, a major development in one of the most high-profile antitrust cases in decades. There's a settlement that was announced today for Live Nation and Ticketmaster. Live Nation has denied any wrongdoing, and they haven't said exactly what was in this deal, but there's some sort of deal, a settlement in the antitrust case. Ticketmaster will be able to stick around, but we might get some mailbox money. So the moment they announce that, I'll let you know for sure. All right, Today I Learned for a Monday, March 9th, 2026. Today I Learned this band.
Some people call me Maurice.
The Steve Miller Band.
That's right, Steve Miller Band. In the early 1980s, Steve Miller learned that songs can earn individual publishing royalties regardless of length. Using this to his advantage, he separated the 57-second long intro from his song Sacrifice and named it Electro Lux Imbroglio and published it, earning thousands of dollars extra as a result. So
smart man.
He's making one song into two and making a couple more bucks in the meantime.
Wow.
Here's a weird one for you. Today I learned there's a Brazilian film adaptation of Don Quixote. It is performed entirely by actors with Down syndrome and called Down Quixote.
Okay.
Didn't know that was a thing, but there you go. And finally, today I learned this guy.
That is Genuine.
Genuine is right. Now I know why he went with Genuine. His real name is Elgin Lumpkin, which is not a sexy name. Genuine, maybe. His real name is Elgin Baylor Lumpkin. Born October 15th, 1970, better known by Genuine.
That sound is the signature or synthesizer preset Banksy number 30 from Emu Systems Proteus sound module.
Really? Hey, now we know. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We do appreciate it. We're back tomorrow, same time, same place. Missed any of the show? Get the